Hey, hey, hey! What's up, everybody? How we doing this evening? What's up, Belle? Wow, Belle, I'll tell you what. She might not win every day, but she gonna win 9 out of 10 days a week. I tell you. Even possible 9 out of 10 days a week. Sounds good. Yes, I like it like that. Anyway, what's up? How you doing today, love? All right. Oh, where's my cube? I gotta get my cube. I left my cube over here. My cube. All right. Hey, Veg, what's up? How we doing? How we doing? How are we doing today? Hey. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Actually, we had a really good day today. I would say we had a good day. You think we had a good day today? I had a good day. Did you have a good day? You had a good day today. Yeah. You were like a little German boy all day. Oh, dressed like a German boy. Okay. I'm so. You was just scrolling. Oh, that's crazy. You weren't even. Yeah, I was like, you know what? Why not? We just going. Why not? Why not? Right? Why not? Instead of just sitting around. You know what I mean? Why not? Maybe we're going to start a little bit early, get an extra chapter or two in tonight. We're almost done. We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's see. What did we do? We went to the park today. That was fun. We went to the park for a little while and they got hot as balls. So we left. And then me and Liz went and ran some errands, went into town, got the mail. My computer finally got fixed, so I finally picked that up. And then we went and got froyo. And then we ate dinner. Oh, we played some games. I know after that we played games. We played some categories. Yeah, we played categories. And then after we played categories, then we played Hughes and Q's. I had to think of the name for a second. And then after that, then we all kind of chilled out and then we had dinner. And now I'm about to read some more of my story. So I can't complain, honestly. Pretty darn good day, if you ask me. Pretty darn good day. All right. Hopefully everybody else has had a pretty good one. I got a song stuck in my head now. Stargazer. Just went up to the mall. Nice. Our mall's breaking down right now from what we see on things. I guess our mall been closed down or something. I don't know. No worries, no worries. I understand. Listen, just stopping by for 2 seconds to say hi means the world. Seriously, I know I'm here a lot, so I don't expect y'all to be here every single night. So just when y'all stop by really quick, say hi, it means the world to me. And I know I'm early too, so everybody's probably like, what the hell going on? But like I said, I'm gonna get a story done because everybody's talking about Wolf King, says it's pretty good. So now you got my interest peaked in that one right there. Plus, I already love this story, so I already know what's gonna happen. So, why are you on? Yep. Really? Too old. You just said too old. So what does that make me? I went from ancient to unk. Wow. Oh, don't worry. I like. Oh, at least I know you like me. Yay! Wow. You like me. You really like me. Someday. Not even most, just some. I get to Wolf King once you finish Starside. Yeah, well, like if the way it's going, if I can get through this pretty quick, super cute German boy. If I can get through this quick, and then the Wolf Kings, with her estimate, it's only going to take 2 weeks. If I can get through those just a few pages ahead a day, I can probably scrounge up another few days, and then the MA book, I can probably scrounge almost time to get maybe another book in before the one. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I only have those two courses if you get started.
Yeah, and it's on the 1st to the 15th, and then the 16th to the 30th. But if I can get it done faster, then right, and I might be able to get.
20th,
And then while we jump into MA, finish hers first. That's a short one too, and then I'd have a standalone. Yeah, it's given Lederhosen. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought. So I was like, I needed some suspenders.
Should needed the suspenders. Oh no! Did they just hit a run of the home? They did. Bummer. No! You overpressed the buttons.
Yes.
Y'all are wild. Hey, Cor, what's up, girl? Still, all this time later, the buttons still seem to do okay. I think you did good. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm ready to reread it.
She's like, I'm ready to reread. No, I'm just.
I done been ready, but I need to finish.
You are. You have so much to catch up. I mean, I understand. I know, but then like I feel I know you're not. I know you're not doing Alchemized. I know you're not going to read this, but I'm still going to be like probably by the second book of Wolf King before you even finish Ashen. But
yeah, but see, like not every book on that wheel, I'm probably gonna necessarily.
I understand. I'm just saying.
Some
it's
of them,
just,
yes. Some of them probably.
I don't know. I don't know. Depends on how good my videos are.
Depends on the vibe.
Depends on the
Depends on the
vibe.
vibe.
Depends on the
inspires me
vibes.
or not. If it doesn't, then I guess it doesn't speak to me.
You're a trip. That's funny.
If it doesn't speak to me, I'll go to a story that speaks to me.
That's okay. Well, soon you're gonna get to go to your stories anyway. So she said, "This is your quest. I'll join when I want." Right? Exactly. I'll take my time too.
Listen, my request was Agatar, and he did do that.
Yeah.
And then he finished the monster before I did.
8 chapters left of Wolf King. Nice.
So
Hey.
I am digging Ashen though. I like that one. I like it.
You alright?
I like it.
Hey, what's up, Britt? Thanks for stopping by. You like it. How far are you on?
Chapter 8.
8? Doing like 20. You're almost
stared
halfway.
into the bush. She's seen the squirrel.
Oh, you have an increased sense. Okay, gotcha.
She hasn't said a thing, but she saw it.
Right.
She's like, "Oh no!
Oh no,
I'm
yeah,
a
I gotcha.
chud. I drew my sword on a squirrel."
Nah, yeah, you're with Critica. No, I get it. Highly enjoying Starside. Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear right now. Starside's in the lead right now. It's at 12. It's got 12 votes, and apparently it's a standalone.
The only one that has more over 5.
And then
There's a lot that have
5, yeah.
but it's the only one that has
Over 5, and it is
5.
massively over 5, so
Yeah.
it's looking like it's going to be big. Hey, Allie, what's up? Having dinner talking to you about my friend and had to show. Oh, no. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Allie, stop. You're going to. Allie. Whoa, that's bringing people close into your circle, man. Exposing them to me. What are you doing? Here. What do you want to show them? Pick a button to show them. Since you're here, here, pick a button to show them. Maybe we can win them over. Added more books. Okay, cool. Is there like a little synopsis too? Like, or just titles? Not that it's either way, but you know what I mean? Just so we can check them out. Because that's how we're picking. We're seeing what y'all got. which I'll put in there, kind of like sell it, I guess. Mm. Hopefully, Ali says button. Which button? Which button? I never know how to introduce us or explain us to people. Unhinged? Feral? Good question. I don't know. I don't know either.
A book club that goes beyond books.
Oh, that's a play on words. Show her Nisha. You want to see her? All right, remember, Ernisha's in space right now.
Book club and beyond, I guess.
The book club of Beyond. The book club with the really weird guy in charge somehow that doesn't like to read. That didn't like to, yeah.
That loves this guy.
That guy. I'm Maroon Girly. There you go. With this. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, you know, there's probably mental brain damage. No, I mean, literally, well, there is, but there is TBIs, but we don't talk about that. It's part of the life. It's part of life. Part of life. But it paid the bills, you know what I mean? Yeah, they love it. No, oh, yay! I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's good. I think it's good. It should be good. I don't know. Again, I worry about my.
How is that negative?
Because I always worry about myself sometimes. Like, what am I really? You know what I mean?
What do you mean worry about yourself?
Meg, you've only told your parents. All right, Allie. Thanks for stopping by.
I kind of stumbled into this weird group of.
But it's also really cool.
I mean,
Oh, thanks, Britt. That's cool. Wait, I'm sorry. What?
You kind of stumbled into this weird, like describing us as a weird group of people, but like weird in the best kind of way.
The good weird? Is that a thing? We're the good weird. We're the good weird.
Yeah,
Not the creepy weird. We're not the creepy weird. We're the good weird. We're the whimsical.
The beyond weird.
We're
weird.
We're the whimsy weird that are beyond the weird. And we like stories. And we go beyond the stories.
Whimsy beyond the weird.
Whimsy beyond the weird.
Weird beyond the whimsy?
Or wise beyond the whimsy.
That could be cute.
There you go. Whimsy with wise. Hey. They know me, promise. They know we were weird. Hey, listen. I get it. And that's how it should be though. But let's be honest, seriously. Weird is the new norm now, and that's not a bad thing, and it should be. Everybody was trying to be too much of a robot. I mean, hell, that life for 20 years. But anyway, gotta be free, gotta be free. Cause I'm
like Henry Cavill. Did anybody see that ad?
No, you still never showed that to me. You know that, right? You still never showed it to me. I like being weird. It makes me feel. Exactly. Weird to your full potential. Yes. I love that. You have to live to your full weirdness.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Embrace thine weird self.
With the ascot? Henry Cavill with the as. Do you have an ascot on?
It was the watch ad for the long singer. Something like that. Like I think a luxury watch brand.
Oh, where he's wearing like the hat with the umbrella and stuff?
Yeah. And
you went straight to the cross. You went to the cross. I looked at the watch.
No, bitch.
I actually looked at I've seen that. The edit you saw. The edit you saw. Okay, yeah. See, I saw the one where they showed the watch and we're talking about like this $100,000, $1 million watch. Oh yeah, you went straight to the. I understand why you went to the background. I get it. Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Looking at
Oh,
me.
I'm sure it was with one eye. Is that Dr. Lego? Ooh. Hey, what's up, Dr. Lego? How are you doing? How is the Minas Tirith building coming with the brother I saw? That was so cool. Didn't even know that was a thing. A brother. I was like, what?
New layer unlocked.
Oh, almost halfway back 20. Okay, okay. She's a third of the way, just over a third. Almost. Okay, okay. Grats. There's two of me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Where's Mr. Raz? He decided he didn't want to help. I mean, if that happened, you'd probably be done if three of y'all jumped on it. But that would probably be too fast. Ooh, hang on. I forgot to do. Oh, son of a gun. Peter Cottontail, run down upstairs watching golf. Watching golf. Okay, watching golf. Excuse me. All right, John. Here we go. Macklemore's got a chance to hit a double bogey par 4 on this par 9 dogleg right with the sand trap to the bunker. Right now, we're going to be super quiet while he comes up with his ugly pants and his spikes. He's going to grab his 9-iron. He's going to come up to the tee. He's going to feel for the wind. He's going to approach his balls, grab his big crooked stick, and he's going to whack the shit out of it. All right, and then it goes there, and then I'm going to go walk down the fucking aisle. Sorry, I can't. Yeah, they're not on the pro choice. They have to, on the pro course, they got to walk.
Whoa.
You know it's a professional sport? Bowling. The only professional sport you can smoke at the same time. Yeah, you can. The bowling alley still, well, yeah, not anymore now because the bowling alleys don't smoke, but you could. You could just smoke a bowling. That is 100%. Oh my God, live discontinued in some regions. Your live is not appropriate for viewers in all regions. Body exposure and sexualized behavior. Restricted body. What did we say with body exposure? What was body exposure? Did Rowan get clipped? That's funny. That's fun. That's funny. Uh-oh. Oh, I know, right? They can't handle how hot. Listen, I'm telling you, it's about to get. Listen, Leader Hosen is too provocative. It's wild. I'm telling you, it's about to be one of those things. It's just going to be, hi, I'm here on TikTok, and we're just going to have to go to the UbiTube, I guess. But then they don't let us play the music. You know what? We just need to build our own commune. Back to the cold. Maybe I go on Spotify, satellite. A cookie? I want, but we already had, that's the only problem with getting ice cream, yogurt so early. It's good, but I just want more. But we don't have any, and I have nothing I can have. We need something. Oh, Lord, she's thinking. It's been a while since I had you. At least 24 hours. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, where were we? Hey, oh, guess what, everybody? Sorry. Hang on. Guess what? Guess what?
The mail's here. Let's go. Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
I got mail. Are we ready? Are we ready? Oh, it looks like it's real mail this time. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, it's real mail. It's real mail. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Okay, here we go. Ready? Remember, we don't. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Who got mail and is about to open it on live stream? Okay, anyway, that's horrible. All right, here we go. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2. Okay, so did I tell you today that it was the yogurt I had? It was cake batter and vanilla, and then I put cheesecake squares on it, little crumbled cheesecake, and then I put some cookie dough, and then I put the Oreo cookie parts on it, and then I put a little caramel with a little bit of marshmallow. Oh, it was so good. Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot about the shirt. It was just it was so good. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready. Okay, here we go. Without further ado, a 5, 4, 3, if you're 2, 1, Hagada. Oh, I didn't. I messed that one up. Oh, holy fuck! That's fuck yeah! Here. Oh, here. Ooh, here. Ha! Yes, my shirt. It's my shirt. It's my shirt. Let's freaking go. That's epic. No, you can't have this one. No, you can't have this one either. You can't have these. Oh, Davin. Yo, here, you know what?
I like that one.
Oh, they all will. Oh, my Lord, they be stealing all my clothes. Trust me. They be taking all my shirts. They're like, "Ooh, can I have this one?" And then they cut the collars off and make them look all nice and wear them all fancy. No, it's a good thing. They style them because they're my older shows. Yeah. Or they turn them into sleep shirts. It's pretty cool. It really is cool. They take all my old shirts and they usually turn them into sleep shirts. So that's pretty cool. They get to see them. So, but yes. Ah, look at that. This is so cool. Thank you so much. That gets a spin. You want to spin the wheel? Somebody want to spin the wheel? All right, you got to spin it. See the way of the arrow. Yep, spin it fast. That was weak sauce, but that's okay. You're good. No, it's good. It's still spun. Hey, M. Stardew Day. Let's do it. What is it? Dungeon Crawler Carl and the banana. Oh, Rocky shirt. What's up?
Go back. I want you to dance again.
What? You want to see me dance again?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, let's go. Those are still hidden. You have not seen those yet. Those will always be, I don't know. Maybe y'all will see those at the if y'all come to the 20th anniversary, the vow renewal. It's less than 2 years. Yeah, I know, girl. I know, right? You can die now. That's funny, Belle. You're a trip. That's funny. What's up, baby? And say what? You about to be 20? Boom shakalaka. A 5. I know it sucks. Getting old sucks, man. I remember I tried to tell you, boss. Dr. Lego, thank you so much. The shirt is amazing. Oh, I love it. You find the coolest swag. I don't know how you find the coolest swag. I don't know how. Apparently she do. Apparently she do, because she finds the coolest swag. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Don't run on him again. Oh, they got him. All right. No, he came back and hit a home run.
Yay!
And then hit a home run yesterday to start the game.
Yay!
2 kids, comes back, hits home runs. That dude's a legend. Generational player. Generational player. All right. Well, I think we're about ready. We are on chapter 17. We're just over halfway through. We got 13 chapters left. We're going to try to get as many as we can in because, like I said, I want to get on to Wolf King. Not that this is a bad story. I love this story, but I already knows what happens. It's super good. Trust me, I'm going to watch this movie a bazillion times. All right, Courtney, later, love. See you later. But I do want to get into Wolf King. Get a little bit ahead of schedule. Maybe we can get some more books in. Little surprises here and there. Some books in. Get this wheel to work because I did not realize. Right? Yeah, absolutely. I did not realize that freaking we had so many. The TBR was so far planned out already. What percentage am I at? It says 7 hours left, or hang on, I go page 309, 30, 56%. I'm at 56%. So 56%. And the chapters, I think a lot of the chapters are 30 minutes tonight. So if everything goes well, I can get into the 20s. And then tomorrow, mid-20s, and then finish on Thursday. And then hopefully start Wolf King on Friday. Maybe Saturday. At the latest, it would be Monday for sure, which I still think I would be ahead of schedule on anything. Because I wasn't scheduled to start Wolf King until the 1st. So I think we're only on like the 23rd right now. So if I can get it done pretty quick, I can get a day or two ahead. So that's not bad. And this one's only taken longer because I've only read live. If I was reading live and then off, we'd already be done with this one. But since I said I wanted to do it all live, I was thinking more people would stop by and hang out. But I was wrong. I guess there's too much science. But anyway, I digress. All right, let's get into it. See how far we can get. We're getting a little head start tonight. With that being said, everybody who is able to show up, I appreciate you for stopping by however long it is. Please don't ever feel sorry or say sorry for having to leave. You just showing up means the world. But okay, let's get into it. Project Hail Mary, chapter 17. All right, we just saw how Rocky eats. All right. I wake up with Rocky staring at me. It happens every morning now, but it never stops being creepy. How do I know that a pentagonal symmetrical creature with no eyes is staring at me? I just know. Something in the body language. You awake? He says. Yeah. I step out of bed and stretch. Food. The arms reach up and hands me a hot box. I open it up and take a peek. Looks like eggs and sausage. Coffee. The arms dutifully hand me a cup of coffee. It's kind of cool that the arms will hand me a cup every time when there's gravity, but a pouch when there isn't. I'll remember that when writing up the Hail Mary's Yelp review. That's funny. He said Yelp review. I look at Rocky. You don't have to watch me sleep. It's okay. He turns his attention to the work table in the partition of the dormitory. Iridian culture rule, must watch. He picks up a device and tinkers with it. Ah, the C word. Culture. We have an unspoken agreement that cultural things just have to be accepted. It ends any minor dispute. Do it my way because it's how I was raised, basically. I mean, I get it, and that's good. With an alien, I think that's okay, but in the same species, I don't think that's okay. But with aliens, I think that would be okay. I think that's a safe rule. All right, we haven't run into anything where our cultures clashed yet. I eat my breakfast and drink my coffee. Rocky doesn't say anything to me during that time. He never does. Iridian courtesy. Trash, I say. The arm collects my empty cup and meal package. I head to the control room and settle in the pilot seat. I bring up the telescope view on the main screen. Planet Adrian sits in the center. I've been watching it grow larger and larger for the past 10 days. The closer we get, the more I respect Rocky's astronomy skills. All his observations and its motions and mass have been spot on. Hopefully his gravity calculation is right too, or we'll have a very short and painful attempt to orbit. Adrian is a pale green planet with wispy green clouds in the upper atmosphere. I can't see the ground at all. Again, I'm amazed at the software that we must have gone to the ship's computers. We are spinning around as we hurtle through the space, but the image on screen is rock solid. I wish the internet providers could give us that shit, you know what I'm just saying? We're all spinning around and hurrying through this little rock solid. We're getting closer, I say. Rocky is 2 floors below me. But I speak in a normal voice. I know he can hear me just fine. You know air yet? Question? Rocky calls out. Just as I know his hearing prowess, he knows my hearing limitations. I'll try again right now, I say. I switch to the spectrometer screen. The Hail Mary is the most incredible reliable in almost every way, but you can't expect everything to work perfectly. The spectrometer has been acting up. I think it has something to do with the digitizer. I've been trying it every day and it keeps saying I can't get enough data to analyze. I zeroed on to Adrian and give it another go. The closer we get, the more reflective light we get, and maybe it'll be enough for the spectrometer to tell me what Adrian's atmosphere is made of. Analyzing, 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 complete. It worked, I say. Worked? Question. Rocky says a full octet higher than normal. He scampers up the tunnel with the control room bulb. What is Adrian's, sir? What is Adrian's air? Question. I read the results on the screen. Looks like it's 91% carbon dioxide, 7% methane, 1% argon, and the rest are traces of gas. It's a pretty thick atmosphere, too. Those are all clear gases, but I can't see the planet's surface. Normally, you can see surface of a planet from space. Question? If the atmosphere lets light through, yes. Human eyes are amazing organs. Jealous. Oh, that's cool. Well, not amazing enough. I can't see Adrian's surface. When air gets really thick, it stops letting light through. Anyway, that's not important. The methane, that's weird. It's like a farting planet. Explain. Methane doesn't last. It breaks apart very fast in sunlight. So how is methane present? Geology creates methane. Carbon dioxide plus minerals plus water plus heat makes methane. Yes. Possible, I say, but there's a lot of methane. 8% of the very thick atmosphere. Can geology make that much? You have different theory? Question. I rub the back of my neck. Not really. It's odd, though. Discrepancy in science. You think about discrepancy, make theory. You is science human. Yes, I'll think about it. How long until orbit? Question. I switch to the navigation console. We're right on course. The orbital insertion burn is scheduled for 22 hours from now. Just under a day, I say. Excitement, he says. Then we sample astrophase at Adrian. Your ship sampler work well? Question. Yes, I say. What's up, Q? Yeah, I got started a little early. Sorry, I wanted to get some extra chapters in tonight. I'm sorry. We're still on the first chapter, though. Sorry. Oh, nice. Yes. Haha. Yes. Sweet. She's not mad. Thank God. Yes. There is no way for Rocky to know. I only vaguely understand the operation of my own ship. I flip through the science instruments until I land on the controls for the external collection unit. I look at the diagram on the screen. It's simple enough. The sampler is a rectangular box. When activated, I will pivot up to be perpendicular to the hole. Then the door on both sides of the rectangle will open up. Inside, there's a bunch of sticky resin. Oh, you're so kind. You're kind. Oh, yeah, look at the new shirt. Look at the new shirt. Look at that. I was a gift from Dr. Lego, keeping my swag swaggy. Look at that. Cheese bears. Amazing. Haha. There's a bunch of sticky resin ready to catch anything that flies in. That is fly paper, fancy space. They're using fancy space fly paper. That is so crazy. But just fly paper. After collection, how sample enter ship? Question. Sample doesn't mean convenient. As far as I can tell, there's no automated system to do anything with the sample. I have to go get it. Humans are a maze. You leave ship. Yeah, I guess. Iridans never bothered to invent spacesuits. Why would they? Space is devoid of sensory input to them. It would be like a human with scuba gear diving into the ocean of black paint. There's no reason to do it. Iridans use whole robots in EVA work. Iridians use whole robots for EVA work. The Hail Mary doesn't have one of those, so the EVA has to do the work. It has to be me. Amaze is the wrong word, he says. Amaze is compliment. Better word is what that mean? It is when a person not act normal. Danger to self. Ah, I said, adding a new chord to my language database. Crazy. My word for this is crazy. Humans are crazy. Hell yeah, they are. I shrug. Especially when they find lost animals on the side of the road, they get super crazy. I just want to cuddle it. It's a bobcat. Anyway, chapter break, wheel spin, let's go. Whoop. Ah. What do we got in there? Get a marker. Where do we go? I don't know. Oh, Peel like that one. The Poet Empress. And that is...
I've always liked to play with fire. I've always liked to...
There we go. All right, let's continue on. Chapter 17. Excuse me. Gosh darn it, I say. Language, came the voice over the radio. Seriously, though, what happened? Fire drapes is still my favorite. Fire drapes. The viral sample fell gently away from my hand to the bottom of the pool. It took several seconds to fall 3 feet, but wearing this EVA suit at the bottom of the world's largest swimming pool, I had no chance of reaching out to grab it. As someone who's... don't read that. Don't read. Belle, I need you to lead. Belle, don't... Oh, I'm screwed. All right, back. Oh, Lord. I have no chance of reaching it. I dropped the vial number 3. Okay, said Forrester. That's 3 vials so far. We're going to have to work on the clamper tool. Might not be the tool. Might just be me. The tool in my awkward glove hand was far from perfect, but still pretty ingenious. It turned the clumsy pawn of the EVA suit glove into fine manipulation at the other end. All I had to do was squeeze the trigger with my index finger and the clamp constricted by 2 millimeters. If I squeezed a different trigger, my middle finger would rotate up 90 degrees clockwise. My ring pinky finger made it tilt upwards 90 degrees. Stand by! I am checking the video, said Forrester. NASA Neutral Buoyancy Lab at Johnson Space Center was a marvel of engineering in itself. It's pretty cool I've been there. The gigantic swimming pool was large enough to fit a full-size replica of the International Space Station inside. They used to train astronauts in zero-G maneuvering while the EVA suits, after countless meetings that I unfortunately forced to attend. The microbiology community convinced Strat this mission needed custom-designed tools. She agreed, on the condition that none of them be mission critical. She was resolute on having all important stuff be off-the-shelf products with millions of hours of consumer testing. That's very smart. It's very, very smart. Very smart. You know what's wrong with them? You can fix the problems that everybody knows. Very, very smart. Very smart. And after being a little science lab dog, it fell onto me to test out the IVME kit. Oh, shit. The IVME was an acronym that stood for 4 words God never intended to put together. In vacuo microbiology equipment. Astrophage live in space. We could study them on Earth, our atmosphere, all we wanted. But we wouldn't get the full picture of how they worked until we studied them in a vacuum. And in zero G. The crew of the Hail Mary would need these tools. I stood on one corner of the NBL, the imposing figures of the ISS behind me. 2 scuba divers floated nearby, ready to rescue me in the event of an emergency. NASA had sunk a metal lab table in the pool for me. The biggest problem wasn't making equipment that worked in the vacuum. Though they did have it completely redesigned pipettes because there's no suction force in space. The problem was the ham-fisted EVA gloves the user had to wear. Astrophage may like vacuums, but human bodies certainly did not. But hey, at least I was learning a lot about how Russian EVA suits worked. Yeah, the Russians, not American. Strad listened to several experts, and they all agreed the Russian Orlan EVA suit was the safest and most reliable. So that's what the mission would use. Okay. I see what happened, said Forrester through the headset. You told the clamp to tilt yaw, but it released instead. The internal micro cable wires must be tangled up. It'll be right there. You can surface and bring the clamp with you. Sure thing. I waved to point 2 divers upwards. They nodded and helped me to the surface. I got hoisted out of the water by a crane assembly and placed on the deck nearby. Several techs came forward and helped me out of the suit. Though it was pretty easy, I stepped out of the back panel. Gotta love chrysalis suits. Forrester came from the control room next and collected the tools. I'll make some changes and we can try again in a couple hours. I got a call while you were in the pool. You'll be needed in Building 30. Shapiro and Dubois have a couple hours break. And they reset the flight control simulators. No rest for the wicked. God, they are running him from station to station, my guys. Wow. Strat wants you over there training on Astrophage. Copy that, Houston, I said. The word might have been ending, but at NASA's main campus, it was too awesome for me to not to be excited. I left the NBL and walked to Building 30. They would have sent a car if I asked, but I didn't want one. It was an only 10-minute walk. Besides, I loved walking around in the country's space history. I walked in, through security, and onward to a small conference room that was set up. Martin Dubois, in his blue flight uniform, stood and shook my hand. Dr. Grace, good to see you again. His meticulous paperwork and notes were right in front of him. Annie Shapiro's sloppy notes and waddle papers lay spewed on the table next to him, but her seat was empty. Where's Annie? I asked. He sat back. Even while seated, he kept a firm, perfect posture. Way better than me, my guy. She had to use the facilities. She should be back shortly. I sat down and opened my backpack. You know, you can call me Rylan. We're all PhDs here. I think first names are fine. I'm sorry, Dr. Grace. This is not how I was raised. However, you may call me Martin if you wish. Thanks. I pulled out my laptop and fired it up. How have you been lately? I have been well, thank you, Dr. Shapiro, and I have begun a sexual relationship. Well, alrighty then. All right. Okay. I thought it prudent to inform you. He opened his notebook and set his pen aside. There should be no secrets within the core mission group. Sure. Sure, I said. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. You're prime science position and Andy's the alternate. There's no scenario where you would both be on a mission, but I mean, your relationship. Yes, you are correct, Dubois said. I will be setting on a smooth mission in under a year. And if for some reason I am deemed unfit or unable, she will go on the smooth mission. We are aware of this, and we know this relationship can only end in death. We live in bleak times, I said. He folded his hands in front of him. Dr. Shapiro and I do not see it that way. We are enjoying the very attractive schmexual encounter. Yeah, okay. I didn't need to know that one, right? Tell me immediately. Not too much information. She's like, tell me immediately. Spell it. I want the deets, baby. That's what she's saying. I feel you, Belle. I typed on my computer hoping to change the subject. It's quite pleasurable, I'm sure it is. In any event, I thought you should know. Yeah, no, sure. I can't find them in Honduras. What? The door opened and Annie trotted in. I'm sorry. I had to pee. Like, so bad, said the world's smartest and most accomplished microbiologist. My back teeth were floating. Welcome back, Dr. Shapiro. I told Dr. Grace about our sexual relationship. I put my heads in my hand. Cool, Annie said. Yeah, we ain't got shit to hide. In any event, said Dubois. If I remember the previous lessons correctly, we were working on cellular biology within astrophage mitochondria. I cleared my throat. Yes. Today I'll be taking about the astrophage Krebs cycle. It's identical to what we find on the Earth mitochondria, but with one additional step. Annie held up her hand. Oh, sorry. One more thing. She turned to Dubois. Martin, we have about 15 minutes of personal time after this lesson before our next training exercise. Want to meet up in the bathroom hall and have schmacks? What the heck? I find that agreeable, said Dubois. Thank you, Dr. Shapiro. Okay, cool. They both looked at me, ready for their lesson. I waited for a few seconds to make sure there was no more oversharing, but they seemed content. Okay, so the Krebs cycle in astrophage has a variant wall. Do you call her Dr. Shapiro while having sex? Of course, that's her name. I kind of like that, she said. I'm sorry I asked. I said, now, the Krebs cycle. Wow! That's wild AF. I fucking love it. That's funny as fuck, y'all. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. What do we got? Oh! Damn. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is. But Star Side is killing it. It's at 13. Star Side.
Thank you, Neil, watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark so everybody sees that you only worship on your fucking name.
It's in the water. Starside's in the water? Is that what we're talking about? Or we're talking about animals? I would love an ocelot. What are we talking about? What's in the water? You always wanted to approach. I don't have any convince. Y'all are crazy. Starside? Well, like I said, if I can get it in, maybe we can get some extra. If they're small books, we can get them in early. That's what we're trying to do. Catch up. I know a lot of people want me to read a lot of things. I'm trying. All right, moving on. Rocky's data about planet Adrian was dead on. It's 3.93 times Earth's mass and has a radius of 10,318 kilometers, almost double Earth's. It's plugging around Tau Ceti with an average orbital velocity of 35.9 kilometers per second. Plus, he had the position of the planet correct within 0.00001%. Fuck, Rocky, you're a genius, my guy. Wow. The data was all needed to work out the insertion thrust needed. It's a good thing those numbers were right. If they hadn't been, there would have been some serious scrambling when the orbital insertion went wrong. I hate when orbital insertion goes wrong and you always have to make those fly-on adjustments. Sometimes it can be so awkward. Maybe some dying, and of course, they use the spin drives at all. I have to take the centrifuge mode. Oh, centrifuge mode is fun. If you can get everybody going in that centrifuge, man, that's a fun one. Rocky and I floated in the control room in his ceiling and bulb and me in the pilot seat. I watched the camera feed screen with this stupid grin on my face. I'm at another planet. I shouldn't be excited for this. I've been in another star for the past several weeks. But it's kind of eccentric. That's eccentric. That's how you spell eccentric? Stop. No way. Hang on. Dagnabbit, highlight the friggin' word. Sorry, Emery. Hang on. Okay. Tau Ceti is pretty much like the sun. It's brought to you and can get close to you, and it emits the same general range and frequencies. For some reason, being at a new planet is much more exciting. The wisp clouds of Adrian coast beneath us. Coast beneath us, yeah. Or more accurately, the wisp clouds barely move at all, and we zoom overhead. Adrian has a higher gravity than Earth, so our orbital velocity is just over 12 kilometers per second, far more than what's needed to orbit Earth. The pale green planet, from what I've been watching for 11 days, has a lot more detail now that we're on top of it. It's not just green. There are dark and light bands of green wrapped around it, just like Jupiter and Saturn, but unlike those two gas giants, Leviathans, Adrian and Rocky's world. Thanks to Rocky's notes, we know the radius and mass, which means we know its density. And it's far too dense to just be gas. There's a surface down there. I just can't see it. Man, what I wouldn't give for a lander. Realistically, it wouldn't do me any good. Even if I had some way of landing on an Adrian, their atmosphere would crush me. Dead. It's like landing on Venus. Or Erid, for that matter. Heck, in that case, I wish Rocky had a lander. The pressure down there might not be too much for an Iridan. Speaking of Erid, Rocky's calibrating some kind of device in his control room bubble. It looks almost like a shmun. I don't think we've started a space war, so I'm assuming it's something else. He holds the device with one hand, taps it with another, and uses two more to hold the rectangular panel that's connected to the device by a short cable. He uses a remainder hand to anchor himself to the handhold. He makes some more adjustments to the device with what looks to be a screwdriver, and suddenly a panel springs to life. It was completely flat, but for now the texture to it. He waves the shmun part to the left and to the right patterns on it. The screen moves left and right. Success! It functions. I lean over the edge of the pilot's seat and look better. What's that? Wait. He punched the shmun part to the extended camera readout screen. He adjusts a couple of controls to the pattern of the rectangle, settings of the circle. Look closer. I see some parts of the circle a little more raised than others. It looks like a relief map. Excuse me. This device here light, like human eye. Oh, it's a camera. He says quickly. Now we have camera in our vocabulary. It analyzes light and show as texture. Oh, you can sense that texture, I say. Cool. Think. He attaches the camera to the bulb wall and fixes the angle to the point of my center of view. What are wavelengths of human eyes? Can't see. Question. All waves between 380 nanometers and 740 nanometers. Most people don't just know that off the top of their head, but most people aren't junior high school teachers who have giant charts of the visible spectrum on the classroom wall. Understand, he says. He turns a few knobs on his device. Now I see what you see. You are an amazing engineer. He waves a claw dismissively. No, camera is old technology. Display is old technology. Both were on my ship for science. I only modified to use inside. I think Iridans have a lot of modesty in their culture. Either that or Rocky is one of those people who just can't take a compliment. I love you, Rocky. You're a good dude. He points to the center of the display. This is Adrian. Question. I check the exact region of Adrian he's pointing at, then compare to my screen. Yes, that part is green. I have no word for this. Of course, Iridan language has no words for colors. Why would it? I've never thought of colors as a mysterious thing, but you've never heard them before. I guess they're pretty weird. We have names for frequency ranges and electromagnetic spectrums, but then again, my students all have eyes, and they were still amazed when I told them X-rays, microwaves, Wi-Fi, and purple were all just wavelengths of light. You name it then? I say. Yes. I name this color medium rough. My display pattern is smooth for high-frequency light, rough for low-frequency light. The color is middle rough. Understand, I say. And yes, green is right in the middle of the wavelength humans can see. Good, he says. Is sample ready? Question. We've been in orbit for a day now, and I activate the sampler right when we get here. I flick the external collection screen up. It reads as fully functional and even reports how long it's been out. 21 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah, I guess so. You get? Ugh. I groan. EVAs are so much work. Lazy human go get. I laugh. He has a slight different tone when he's joking around, and it took a long time for me to identify it. It's like in timing between words. They don't have the same cadence. I can't really put my finger on it, but I know when I hear it. From the external collection screen unit, I order the sampler to close the doors and return to the flat configuration. The panel reports that it's been done, and I can confirm with the whole cameras. I climb into the Orlan EVA suit and enter the airlock, and I cycle it. Adrian is absolutely gorgeous in person. I stay out on the hull. We're in space! Hang on! We're in space! We're in space! We gotta be safe in space, folks. You gotta be safe in space. You have to be safe in space. It's a big space out there. Be safe in it, okay? Be safe in the space. It's absolutely gorgeous in person. I stay out on the hull, staring at a huge world for several minutes. Bands of dark and light green cover an orb, and the reflective glow from Tau City is simply breathtaking. I could stare at it for hours. I probably got to this with Earth too. I wish I could remember. Man, I really wish I could remember that. I must have been every bit as beautiful. You out a long time, comes Rocky's voice through the headset. You are safe? Question. I set up the EVA panel to always play my radio feed over speakers in the control room. Plus, I taped a headset microphone on Rocky's control room bulb and set it to the voice activation. All he has to do is talk and it broadcasts. I'm looking at Adrian. It's pretty. Look later. Get sample now. You're pushy. Yes. I climb along the hull, bathed in Adrian light. No, yeah. Anybody else want to bathe in some Adrian light? Everything has a light green tinge to it. I find the sample collection right where it's supposed to be. It's not as big as I expected. 1/2 meter square or so. There's a lever beside it with red and yellow stripes all around it. Text over the lever reads, pull the lever to release ECU. Russian letters, ECU. Chinese letters, ECU. I clip a tether to the convenient hole in the unit, presumably put there for this exact use. I pull the lever over to the open position. The sampler floats free over the hole. I work my way back to the hole in the airlock with the sampler in tow. I cycle my way into the airlock and climb out of the suit. All is good? Question? Rocky asks. Yes. Good, Rocky says. You inspect with science gear. Question? Yes. Now, I bring up a centrifuge panel. Prepare for gravity. Yes, gravity. He grips the handhold and there are 3 drawers. Science gear? Once the centrifuge spins up, I get to work in the lab. Rocky scurries into the tunnel in the lab ceiling and watches. Intensely. Well, not watches. Listens intensely, I guess. I lay the sampler on the lab and the table on one of the panels in the side of the face Tau Ceti. I smile at what I see. I crane my head and look up at Rocky. Oh. The panel is white, and when I started, now it's black. Not understand. The sample's color changed to the color of astrophage. We got a lot of astrophage. Good, good. Over the next 2 hours, I scrape everything off. Both halves of the sampler, putting each group in the other container. Now I give each a good sample rinse with water and let the astrophage settle to the bottom. I'm sure a lot of the sticky substance came with the astrophage when I scraped it off, and I want it gone. I perform a series of tests. First, I run a few astrophage thoughts, DNA container tests, DNA marker testing to see if they're identical to the astrophage found on Earth. They are, at least. The markers I checked are identical. Then I check the overall population of each sample. Interesting, I say. Rocky perks up. What's interesting? Question. Both halves have approximately the same population. Not expected, he says. Not expected. I agree. One side of the sampler pointed toward Tau Ceti, while the other pointed toward Adarna. Adrian. Astrophage migrate to breed. For the very frisky astrophage that head to Adrian with the twinkle in its eye, 2 should remain. So broadly speaking, there should be twice as many astrophage going from Adrian to Tau Ceti as there are going the other direction. But that's not what's happening. The outgoing population is the same. An incoming population? Is that just my freaking... Yeah, I think it's just my ears. Sorry, my tinnitus just started ringing really bad right now. Rocky climbs up the tunnel and runs across the roof, and the lab gets a flaw in counting. Question. How do you count? Question. I measure total heat energy output of both samples. It's a surefire way to know how much astrophase you're dealing with. Each one insists on being 96.415 degrees Celsius. The more of them there are, the more total heat will be absorbed by the metal plate I put on them. He taps claws together. That is good method. Population must be same. How? Question. I don't know. I smear some of the returning astrophage, that it's astrophage in the way from Adrian to Talsetti on the side. I take it to the microscope. Rocky scampers along the tunnel to break it up. Tunnel to keep up. That is what? Question? Microscope, I say. It helps me see very small things. I can see astrophage with this. Amaze!
Amaze.
I take a look at the sample and I gasp. There's a lot more astrophage in there. The familiar black dots of astrophage are all over the sample. But so are the translucent cells, smaller bacteria-like things and larger amoeba-like things. There are little things, fat things, spiral things. Too many to count. Too many different kinds of things to count. It's like they're all life in a drop of water. Wow, I say, life. There's a whole bunch of life in here, not just astrophage. A bunch of different species. Rocky literally bounces off the tunnel walls. Amaze!
Amaze.
Adrian isn't just a planet, I say. Adrian is a planet with life. Life like Irid or Earth. That explains why the methane comes from life. Life makes methane. Rocky freezes. Then he shoots bolt upright. I've never seen him raise his caprice so high. Life is also the reason for population discrepancy. Life is the reason. What, I say? He more excited than I've ever seen him. How? I don't understand. He taps the tunnel on the wall of my claw, pointed at the microscope. Some life on Adrian eats astrophase, population and balance, natural order. This explains all things. Oh my God. My heart just about beats out of my chest. Astrophage has a predator. There's a whole biosphere at Adrian, not just astrophage. There's even an active biosphere within the Petrova line. This is where it all started. It has to be. How else can we explain countless extreme different life forms that all evolved to migrate in space? They all came from the space same genetic root. Astrophage was just one of many life forms that evolved here. And with all life, there's a variance in predation. Yeah. Adrian isn't just some planet that astrophage infected. It's the astrophage homeworld, and it's the home of astrophage's predators. This is amazing, I yell. If we find a predator, we take it home, Rocky says, 2 octets higher than normal. It eat astrophage. Breed, eat more astrophage. Breed, eat more astrophage. More. Stars phase. Yes, I press my knuckles against the tunnel wall. Fist bump. What? I wrap the tunnel again. This. Do this. He emulates my suggestion and gesture. Celebrate, I say. Celebration. Fist my bump. Yeah! Now we got a spin for the end of the chapter. Man, my tinnitus is ringing tonight all of a sudden. All right, here we go. Oh, another poet empress. Ooh, I was making a roll today. Okay, here we go. Bam. Here, away I go.
I've always liked to play with fire. I've always liked to yeah.
Oh, I had that a little too high on my end. I'm sorry. What was I doing right there? Anyway, woo, that was loud. Sorry. If y'all got some echo on that one, I apologize. Should have told me earlier. Anyway, let's get into it. Here we go. I'm moving on. Project Hail Mary, chapter 18. The crew of the Hail Mary sat on the couch in the break room, each with their drink of choice. Commander Yao had a German beer. Engineer Yonka had a distressingly large tumbler of vodka. And Science Specialist Dubois had a glass of 2023 Cabernet Sauvignon, and that he had poured 10 times in advance to ensure it had time to breathe. All right, Q, have a good night. Take care. Love ya. Be safe. Have a good one. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gotta do a puzzle piece on the tiki-talkie. Puzzle piece on the tiki-talkie. Hey, P, what's up? What's up, P? Welcome, welcome. P, just so you know, Poet Empress has had 2 votes. Has earned 2 votes tonight. It's selected twice. Hey, what's up? It's up there. It's Poet Empress is now at, what is it now? It's at 5 votes. It's up in the top now. It's starting to get some votes. Getting exciting. Hope you had a good day today. All right, back to the story. So they're drinking. Yeah. Okay. The break room itself had been a struggle to arrange. Strat didn't like anything that wasn't directly related to the mission, and the aircraft carrier wasn't exactly overflowing with extra space. Still, with more than 100 scientists from all over the world demanding a place to relax, she had relented. A small room in the corner of their hangar was built to house the extravaganza. The extra vengeance with the extra, yeah. Dozens of people crowded in the room and watched the TV fed on the wall monitor, but silent agreement, the crew got to sit in the couch. The crew got all possible perks and advantages. They were sacrificing their lives for the humanity. The least we could do was give them the best seats. And we were just minutes away from liftoff, said the BBC reporter. I could have watched American news, Chinese news, Russian news. It would have all been the same. The long shot for the Baltner Cosmodrome intersped with shots of the huge launch vehicle on the pad. The reporter stood in the observation room overlooking Moscow's Mission Control Center. Today's launch is the 9th in the total of 16 total launches for Project Hail Mary, but is arguably the most important one. This payload contains the cockpit, lab, and dormitory modules. Astronauts on the ISS are ready to receive the modules and will spend the next 2 weeks positioning them in the Hail Mary's frame, which was built over the last several expeditions. Ilyonka raised her Herodka. Don't fuck up my house, Rosmakol's bastardos! Aren't they your friends, I ask? They can be both. She bellowed with laughter. The countdown came on the screen. Less than a minute ago, Yao leaned forward and peered intently. It must have been hard. A military man of action force to passively watch something so important play out. Dubois saw Yao's expression. I'm certain the launch will go well, Commander Yao. Said Yao. 30 seconds to launch, said Ilyonka. I cannot wait that long. She drowned her vodka immediately and poured herself another glass. The assembled scientists pressed forward a bit and the countdown continued. I found myself pinned against the back of the couch. I was too focused on the screen to care. Dubois craned his neck to look at me. Will Miss Stradnod be joining us? I don't think so, I said. She doesn't care about the fun stuff like launches. She's probably going over spreadsheets in her office or something. He nodded. Then it's unfortunate that we have you then it's fortunate that we have you here to represent her in a way. Me? Represent her? How did you get that idea? Ilyonka spun her head to face me. You are a number 2, no? You are first officer of Project Hail Mary. What? No, I'm just one of the scientists, like all these guys. I gestured to the men and women behind me. Ilyonka and Dubois looked at each other and then back at me. You honestly think this? You honestly think this, she said. Bill Riddle spoke up behind. You're not like the rest of us, Grace. I shrugged at him. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? The point is, Dubois said, you are somehow special to Miss Strat. I had assumed you two were engaged in a sexual congress. My mouth fell agape. What?
No! God, please, no!
That's what he was really thinking. No, no way. Huh? Ilyonka said. Perhaps you should be. She is uptight. She says could use a good roll in the hay. Oh my God, this is what you people think? I turned to face the scientists. Most of them avert their eyes. Nothing like that is going on. And I'm not her number 2. I'm just a scientist drafted in this project like the rest of you. Yao turned around and stared at me for a moment. The room fell silent. He didn't speak much, so when he did, people paid attention. You are number 2, he said. Then he turned back to the screen. Damn! The BBC announcer counted the last few seconds along with the on-screen timer. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff! Flames and smoke surrounded the rocket on screen, and it rose skyward, slow at first, then picking up more and more speed. Ilyanka held her glass up for a few seconds and finally burst into cheers. Tower is clear. Launch is good. She gulped her vodka. It is only 100 feet off the ground, I said. Maybe wait till it reaches orbit? Dubois sipped his wine. Astronauts celebrate when the tower is clear. Without a word, Yao took a sip of his beer. We'll spin. Why doesn't this work? Oh, da 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 da. What do we got? What do we got? Oh. Oh. Woo. We got some rune action.
Rune Danon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran family.
Hey, Pixie, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, that was Mistborn. Mistborn is at 5 now. Mistborn is at 5. Here we go. Why doesn't this work? I hit my forehead with both palms at each word. I flop in the lab chair, deflated. Rocky watches from his tunnel. Above, no predator. Question, no predator, I sigh. The experiment is simple enough. It's a glass bulb full of Adrian's air. I'm sorry. That was Serpents of Wings and Night. Yes, you're right. Serpents of Wings and Night. You're right. You're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. It was Serpents of Wings. It was Serpents of Wings and Nights. Yes. Serpents of Wings and Nights. Serpents of Wings and Nights. I got that one wrong. I keep getting that one wrong because, yep. You right. Bam. I got that one wrong. All right, anyway. Double point. It happened. My mistake. Everybody benefits. You know what I mean? We'll just keep it that way. All right, here we're... Okay, no predator. No predator. The experiment is simple enough. The glass bulb full of Adrian's air. The air didn't actually come from Adrian. The proportion of gases are based on the spectrograph of its atmosphere. The pressure is very low, 1/10 atmosphere. It's like the upper atmosphere of Adrian must be. Also inside the bulb is our collection of Adrian's life forms and some fresh astrophage. I hope that providing a bunch of nice juicy astrophage would make the predator population spike and I could isolate it from the sample ones. And it was the dominant cell type present. Didn't work. You are certain? Question. I checked my makeshift heat indicator. It's just a thermocouple with part of the sticking end ice water and part of attached to a bulb. Heat energy is provided by astrophage and consumed by the ice. The resulting temperature is thermocouple that tells me how much is the total heat energy the astrophage is getting off. If the temperature goes down, it means the astrophage population went down. But it's not happening. Yeah, I'm sure, I say. No change in astrophage population. Maybe temperature of bulb no good. Too hot. Adrian's upper atmosphere is probably much colder than your room temperature. I shake my head. Adrian air temperature should matter. The predator has to be able to handle astrophage temperature. Ah, yes. You are right. Maybe the predator theory is wrong, I say. He clicks across the tunnel to the far side of the lab. He paces and thinks, interested, that humans and ears would both have that behavior. Predator is only explanation. Maybe predator no live in Petrova line. Maybe predator live further down in atmosphere. I perk up. Maybe. I look over the lab monitor. I have him showing the eternal camera view of Adrian. Not for scientific reason, just because it looked cool. Right this moment, we're both about to cross the terminal into the day side of the planet. The light of the orbital day glows along the arc. Okay, let's say a predator lives in the atmosphere. What altitude? What altitude is best? Question. If you predator, where you go? Question. You go to astrophage. Okay, so what altitude are they astrophage at? The question answered itself. Ah, there's a breeding altitude where air has enough carbon dioxide for astrophage to breed. Yes, he clatters back up the tunnel and stands above me. We can find. Easy. Use Petrovoscope. I slam my fist into my palm. Yes, of course. Astrophage has to breed somewhere. Why do I feel like I got a mustache hair tickling me or something? I'm sorry. Sorry. All right. Astrophage have to breathe somewhere. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide will be key. We don't have to work that out or take any guesses. When an astrophage divides, it and its offspring head back to Tau Ceti. And they use IR light emissions to make it happen. That means there will be glow of the Petrova frequency, light coming from all over the planet at that specific altitude. To the control room, I say. Control room! He scampers across the lab ceiling tunnel and I disappear for personal control room entrance. I follow along beside him, not quite as fast. I climb up the ladder, take the pilot's seat. I flip on the Petrovoscope. Rocky has already taken position in the bulb and points his camera to the main screen. The entire screen glows red. What is this? Question. No data. Wait, I say. I bring up the controls and options and start moving sliders. We're inside the Petrova line. There's astrophage all around us. Let me change the setting to only show the brightest sources. It takes a lot of manipulation, but I finally manage to get the brightness range set. What I'm left with are irregular blotchy areas of IR light coming from Adrian. I think this is our answer, I say. Rocky gets closer to his texture screen to see what I'm looking at. Not what I expected, I say. I thought it would just be a general layer of IR glow at the given altitude, but it's nothing like that. The clumps are basically clouds, and they don't match up to the wispy white clouds I've seen with visible light. There are, for a lack of a better term, IR clouds. And more accurately, clouds of astrophage that are emitting light for whatever reason. Astrophage breed is much more in some areas than others. Unusual distribution, says Rocky, echoing my own thoughts. Yes, maybe the weather affects breathing. Maybe. Can you calculate altitude? Question. Yes. Wait. I zoom and pan the Petrovoscope until I'm looking at astrophage cloud right on the horizon of Adrian. The readouts show the camera's current angle in respect to the angle axis of the ship. I jot those angles down and switch to the navigation console. It tells me the angle of the ship relative to the center of our orbit. With the information and a whole bunch of trigonometry, I can work out the altitude of the astrophage. The breeding altitude is 91.2 kilometers from the surface, with the width of less than 200 meters. Rocky folds one of his claws over and over. I know that body language. He's thinking. If predator exists, predators are there. Agree, I said. But how do we get sample? How close can orbit get? Question. 100 kilometers from the planet. Any closer and the ship will burn up in the atmosphere. This is unfortunate, Rocky says. 8.8 kilometers away from breeding zone. No can get closer? Question. If we hit the atmosphere at orbital speed, we die. But what if we slow down? Slow down means orbit no good. Fall into air. Die. I lean over the armrest and look at him. We can use the engines to keep from falling into the atmosphere. Just thrust away constantly from the planet. Lower ourselves into the atmosphere. Get a sample, then leave. No work. We die. Why no work? Engines give off enormous IR light. You will see in air. Air become ions. Explosion! Destroy ship. I wince. Right, of course. Back when Dmitri first tested the spin drive, it was only on for 100 microseconds and it melted 100 metric tons of metallic silicone behind it. And that test was 1,000th the power of the Hail Mary's engines. Everything works fine when I'm in a vacuum, but using the engines in air would create a fireball that makes a nuclear bomb look like a firecracker. Damn! We sit in frustration and silence while both The salvation of both our worlds might just be 10 kilometers below us, and we can't get to it. There has to be a way. But how? We don't even need to be there. We just need to get a sample of the air there. Anything, no matter how small. Wait a minute. How do you make xenonite again? Makes two liquids. Rocky is caught off guard by the question. He answers, yes, have liquid and liquid mix, become xenonite. How much can you make? How much of those liquids did you bring? I bring much. I used to make my zone. I bring up a spreadsheet and I start typing in the numbers. We need 0.4 cubic meters of xenonite. Can you make that much? Yes, he says. Have enough liquids remain to make 0.61 cubic meters. Okay, then I have an idea. I steeple my fingers. Chapter spin! Here we go. All right. We're going to make sure we get the right one this time. Get the right one this time. All right. Here we go. We're spinning the wheel. All right. Make sure they're down straight. Here we go. Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler, and that's. It's a simple idea, but also stupid. Thing is, when stupid ideas work, they become genius ideas. It's only stupid if it don't work. We'll see which way this one falls. The astrophage breeding grounds are 10 kilometers into the atmosphere in Adrian. I can fly the Hail Mary that low because the air is too thick and I'll burn up. I can't use the engines in the atmosphere because all heck breaks loose and everything blows up. So, it's time to go fishing. We're going to make a 10 kilometer long chain, put a sample device in some kind of the end. Rocky will make that. Drag it through the atmosphere. Easy enough, right? Wrong. Hail Mary has to contain a velocity of 12.6 kilometers per second to stay in orbit. Any slower and will decay and burn. But if we drag a chain through the air at that velocity, even xenonite chain, it'll get torn up and vaporized. So we have to go slower. But going slower means falling towards the planet. Unless I use the engines to constantly maintain the altitude. But if I do that, I'll be thrusting directly away from the chain and sampling device. The exhaust from the engine will vaporize it all. So we'll thrust at an angle. Simple as that. I'll look absolutely ridiculous. The Hail Mary will be tilted at 30 degrees from vertical, thrusting upward at an angle. Below it, the chain will dangle 10 kilometers into the air straight down. The atmosphere behind the thrusters will be in constant state of iodized fire. It should be quite the show, but it'll be behind us, and the chain will be passing through unaffected air. All told, our lateral velocity will be just 100 meters per second. The chain can handle that in the thin altitude air, no problem. I calculate they only deflect about 2 degrees from vertical. Once we feel like we have the sample, we skedaddle. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Ask me to pronounce a word. That's about as easy as it could go wrong. That easy. I say ironically. See what I mean? I'm not the greatest 3D modeler, but I'm able to make a chain in CAD resembling well, and it's not a normal oval link enough. It's mostly oval, but with a thin opening for another link to enter. Easy to assemble the links, but extremely unlike them to rattle apart, especially when they're under tension. I grab a block of aluminum and mount to the mill. Will this work? Question. Rocky asks from the ceiling tunnel. It should, I say. I fire up the mill and it gets right to work. It drills out the mold for the chain link exactly the way I hoped. I put this workpiece out, dust off the aluminum shavings, and hold up the tunnel. How's this? Very good, Rocky says. We need many chain links. Many molds mean I can make many more at one time. Can you make many molds? Question. Well, I look at the supply cabinet. We have limited amounts of aluminum. You have many items in ship you use. 2 beds in dormitory, for instance. Melt them. Make blocks. Make more molds. Wow. You don't do anything half measured, do you? No understand. I'm not going to melt a bunch of stuff. How would I even do that? Astrophage melt anything. You got me there, I say. But no, the heat would do too much to my life support system to handle. That reminds me. Why do you have so much extra astrophage? He paused. Strange story. Hey, welcome back, Allie Grace. Welcome back. I hope you had a good dinner. I hope you had a good dinner and hanging out with your friend. Welcome back. Welcome back. Excuse me. I perk up always for a strange story. He clicks along his tunnel and sits slightly in a wider section. Science Iridians do much math. Calculate trip, much fuel, mean faster trip. So we make much astrophage. How did you make so much? Earth had very difficult time making it. Good, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. Was easy. Put in metal balls with carbon dioxide. Put in ocean. Wait, astrophage double. Double much astrophage. Right, because your oceans are hotter than astrophage. Yes, Earth oceans are not? Sad. When it comes to astrophage manufacturing, Arid was born on third base. The whole planet is a pressure cooker. 29 atmospheres at 210 degrees Celsius means water is liquid on the surface, and their oceans are far hotter than astrophage critical temperature. Just put astrophage in water, let it absorb the heat, and breed. I'm jealous. We had to pave the Sahara Desert to breed our astrophage. All they had to do was throw it in water. They store. Wow, that's crazy. Just throw in some water. Just add water. Water not included. Oh, thank you for the gift, love. Appreciate you. So nice. The stored heat energy of the Earth's ocean is ridiculous. A whole bunch of water multiplies Earth's total oceans, holding a temperature around 200 degrees Celsius or more. That's a lot of energy. And that's why they can take a century or so to solve the problem with Earth is going to freeze in a few decades. It's not just their air storing heat. Their ocean stores even more. Born on third base again. Science Iridids designed ship and fuel requirements journey to take 6.64 years. That trips me up for a moment. 40 Iridian is 10 light years away from Tau Ceti, so you can get from one to the other in less than 10 years from Iridid's point of view. He must have meant 6.64 years of experience by his ships, thanks to time dilation. Strange things happen on ship. On trip, crew sick, die. His voice lowers. Now I know it was radiation. I look down and give him a moment. Everyone's sick. I alone to run ship. More strange things happens. All right, Veg, thanks for stopping by, love. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your evening. The engines might not work right. I am an engine expert. I cannot figure out problem. Your engines failed? No, not failed. Thrust normal, but speed not increased. No can't explain. Huh. We're on, what are we on? 18. We're on 18. 18. Chapter 18. No, not fail thrust, but speed, no increase. No can explain. Huh, we're talking about why his engines ain't working. He clattered back and forth and he talks. Then more strange. Reach halfway through point should earlier. Bitteschön. Reach halfway point earlier than should. Much earlier I turn ship around. Thrust to slow down. But Tau Ceti get further away. How? Still moving toward Tau, but Tau moving away. Much confusion. Ugh, I say. A thought creeps into my head. Very disturbing thought. I speed up, slow down, much confused. But get here, even with all mistakes and confusion. I get here in 3 years. Half of time Science Iridian said we should be. So much confusion. Oh my, I mumble. Much fuel remain. Much more than should have. No complaint, but confused. Yeah, I say. Tell me this. Is time on Irid the same as time on your ship? He cocks his caprice. Question make no sense. Of course time is same. Time is same everywhere. I put my hands in my head. Oh boy. Oh, he needs to watch Interstellar. You need to go put Interstellar on. Let him watch that. It'll explain that whole shit really cool. Yeah, go put that on. Iridans don't know about relative physics and shit. Relativistic used physics. They calculate their entire journey with Newtonian physics. They worked it all out by assuming they could just accelerate faster and faster, and the speed of light wasn't an issue. Oh, they don't know about time dilation. Rocky doesn't realize that Ear experienced a whole bunch more time than he did on the trip. They don't know about the length dilation. The distance to Tau Ceti was actually increased as you slow down relative to it, even if you're still going towards it. An entire planet of intelligent people put together a ship based on incorrect scientific assumptions, and by some miracle, the sole survivor of the crew was clever enough at trial and error problem solving to actually get it to its destination. Wow. Wild. But out of all the major screw-ups comes my salvation. They thought they needed a whole lot more fuel, so Rocky has a boatload to spare. Okay, Rocky, I say, get comfortable. I have a lot of science to explain. Oh, Rocky. Oh, Rocky. He just... Oh, poor Rocky. For real. Oh, my God. Oh. Book is brutal. Fucking brutal. Oh. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, it bounced back to Dire Bound. Dire Bound at 5. For real, right?
I'm just following my destiny. I'm just doing what comes happening.
Ooh, whoop. I'm with you, DW. I'd bring him here if we could. Hell yeah. All right. He knocked twice and leaned into my office. Dr. Grace? Are you Dr. Grace? It wasn't a large coffee, but you're lucky to have any personal space at all on the aircraft carrier. Before it held high honor of being in my office, the room was a storage locker for the bathroom supplies. The crew had 3,000 butts that needed daily wiping. I got to keep the room as my office until the next time we were in port. Excuse me. Then they'd fill it up with more supplies. It was approximately critical as toilet paper. I looked up from my laptop. The short, somewhat disheveled man in the doorway waved awkwardly. Yeah, I said. I'm Grace, and you are? Hatch. Stephen Hatch. University of British Columbia. Nice to meet you. Excuse me. I gestured to the folding chair in front of the I gestured to the folding chair in front of the folding table I used as a desk. He shuffled in carrying a bulbous metal object. I'd never seen anything like it. He plucked it on my table. I looked at the object. It was something like a flattened medicine ball. Added a triangle to one end and a trapezoid to the other. He sat in the chair and stretched out. Man, that was weird. I've never been on a helicopter before. Have you? Well, of course you have. How else would you have got here? I mean, I guess you could have probably used a boat, but probably not. I hear they keep their carrier far away from the land in case there's a disaster during astrophage experiments. A boat would have been nicer, honestly. That helicopter ride made me puke. What are we just yapping about, my guy? But I'm not complaining. I'm just happy to be involved. That was so many words, and you didn't say shit. Oh, my God. I gestured to an object on my desk. Oh, what is this thing? I somehow became even more energetic. Oh, right. That's a beetle. Well, my prototype for one anyway. My team and I think we have the most of the kinks worked out. Well, you'll never have all the kinks worked out. But we're ready for the actual engine tests. And the university said we had to do here on the carrier. And the provisional government of the British Columbia said it. Oh, and the national government of Canada too. I'm Canadian, by the way. Don't worry, I'm not one of those anti-American Canadians. I think you guys are all right. Beetle? Yeah, he picked it up and turned the trapezoid towards me. This is how the Hail Mary crew will send us back the information. It's a little self-contained spacecraft that will automatically navigate itself back to Earth from Tau Ceti. Well, from anywhere, really. That's what me and my team have been working on for the past year. I peeked to the trapezoid in this tiny glass-like surface. Is that a spin drive? I asked. Sure is, man. Those Russians know their stuff. We just used their design and everything. Came out great. At least, I think he did. We haven't tested the spin drive yet. The tricky part is navigation and steering. Resonance, am I right? This is where the camera's computers are. The fancy inertia navigation nonsense. It uses ordinary visible light to see the stars. It identifies constellations and work out the orientation from that. He tapped the center of the bulbous caprice. It looked a little DC generated in here. As long as we have astrophage, we have power. What can carry it, I ask. Data. It's got a redundant RAID array of more memory storage than anyone would ever need. He knocked on the dome and slightly. The bulk of this puppy is fuel storage. It'll need about 125 kilograms of astrophage to make the trip. Seems like a lot, but man, 12 light years. I lifted the device and hefted it in my hand a couple of times. How does it turn? Reaction wheels inside, he said. It spins them one way, the ship turns the other. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Interstellar navigation is easy peasy, I smiled. He snickered. Well, for what we have to do, yeah. It has a receiver that is constantly listening for the signal from Earth. Once it hears that signal, it'll broadcast its location and await instructions from the deep space network. We don't have to be super accurate with the navigation. We just need it to show up within range of Earth, somewhere within the orbit of Saturn or so, and we'd just be fine. I nod. And the scientists can tell exactly how to get it back. Clever. He shrugged. They'll probably do that, yeah, but they don't need to. They'll have a radio all over the data thing first. The information gets across, then they collect it later if they want. Oh, and we're making 4 of these. All we need is for one of them to survive the trip. I turned the beetle this way and that way. It was surprisingly light. A few 100 pounds at most. Okay, so there are 4 of these. How likely is it to one of these survive the trip? Is there anything, at least a little system redundancy aboard? He shrugged. Not that much, no. But I don't have to travel in nearly as long as a Hail Mary does, so stuff doesn't have to survive as long. It's going the same route, right? Why doesn't it take the same route? Because the Hail Mary's acceleration is limited by the soft, squishy humans inside. The Beetle doesn't have that problem. Everything aboard is military grade. That doesn't mean much, trust me. Cruise missile electronics and parts that can handle hundreds of G-forces, so it'll get a relativistic speed much faster. Oh, interesting. I wonder if this would make a good question for my students. I dismissed the idea immediately. It was absurdly complicated math no 8th grader would be able to handle. Yeah, Hatch said. They accelerated 500 Gs until they reach a cruising speed of 0.93 Cs. It'll take over 12 years to get back to Earth. But all told, these little guys will only experience about 12 months. Well, what? But all told, the little guys will only experience about 20 months. Do you believe in God? I know it's a personal question. I do. And I think it was pretty awesome to make a relativity and thing, don't you? The faster you go, the less time you experience. It's like he's inventing us to explore the universe, you know? He fell silent and stared at me. Well, I said, this is really impressive. Good work. Thanks, he says. So can I have some astrophage to test it? Sure, I said. How much you want? How about 100 milligrams? I drew back. Easy there, cowboy, easy. That's a lot of energy, all right? Can't blame a guy for trying. How about 1 milligram? Yeah, I can swing that. He clapped. Hell yeah, astrophage coming my way. He leaned forward to me. Isn't it amazing? Astrophage, I mean? It's like the coolest thing ever. Again, God's just handing us the future. Cool, I said. It's an extinction level event, if anything, and God's handing us an apocalypse. That's one way to look at it. He shrugged. I mean, maybe a little, but man, perfect energy storage. Imagine a battery-powered household. Like you have the AA battery you put full of astrophage. That lasts your house about 100,000 years. Imagine buying a car and never having to charge it up. The entire concept of power grids is going to end. And it'll all be clean, renewable energy once we start breeding the stuff on the moon or something. So all is needed is sunlight. Clean? Renewable? I said. Are you suggesting astrophage will be good for the environment? Because it won't be. Even if Hail Mary finds a solution, we're looking at a mass extinction. 20 years from now, a whole bunch of species on Earth will be extinct, and we're working hard to make humans aren't one of them. He waved off my comment. Earth's had 5 mass extinction events in the past, and humans are clever. We'll pull through. We'll starve, I said. Billions of people are gonna starve. Nah. We're already stockpiling food. We got a bunch of methane in the air to hold the solar energy. It'll be all right as long as the Hail Mary succeeds. I stared at him for a moment. You are, without a doubt, the most optimistic person I ever met. He gave me double thumbs. Thanks, dude. He picked up the beetle and turned to leave. Come on, Pete. Let's get you some astrophage. Pete, I asked. He looked over his shoulder. Sure. I'm naming them after the Beatles, the British rock band. I take it you're a fan? He turned back to face me. Fan? Oh, yes. I don't want to exaggerate, but Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band is the greatest musical accomplishment in the history of mankind. I know. Many would disagree, but they're wrong. Fair enough, I said. But why Pete? There aren't any Beatles named Pete. It's John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Sure, that's what they call the ones aboard the Hail Mary. But this fella is for testing. It's low Earth orbit. And I get a whole SpaceX launch just for me. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, I named him after Pete Best. He was a drummer for the Beatles before Ringo. Okay, I didn't know that. I said, now you do. I'm gonna go get the astrophage now. I gotta make sure these Beatles will be able to get back. Okay. Get back, you don't know me. He frowned. Get back. It's a song by the Beatles. Sure. Okay. He spun on his heel and left. Some people got no appreciation for the classics. He won't make it through the Ice Age. I left it confused in his wake. Pretty sure I wasn't the first one. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's spin the wheel and get to 19. We spin my hair. Starside. Man. I put Starside at 14. Wow. Starside is winning. I'll tell you what, Starside is winning right now, definitely, yeah. That's come out of the middle of nowhere. It's crazy. All right, chapter 19, let's get into it. Rocky was dumbfounded by relativity. For the first couple of hours, he simply refused to believe me. But then, as I showed more and more about it and explained his trip, he came around. He doesn't like it, but he accepts that the universe rules are much more complicated than we can see. And since then, we spent an eternity making a chain. I made molds as fast as I could, and Rocky cranked out links as fast as Xenon would set. It was a good system, one with geometric progression, and made the results. Every new model I made added one number of links Rocky could make per batch. Chain, chain, chain. If I never see another chain again in my life, it will be too soon. 10 kilometers of chain, each link just 5 centimeters long. That's 200,000 links, each one connected by hand or claw. It worked out that each of us worked 8 hours per day for 2 weeks doing nothing but connecting links. Fuck a duck on that shit. I saw a chain whenever I closed my eyes. I dreamed of chain every night, and one of my dinner packets was spaghetti, and all I could see were smooth white chains instead of noodles. For real. But we got it done. Once we had all the links made and assembled them into parallel, we made 10 meters of length into the 20s, and so on. At least we could be efficient that way. The tricky part was putting it all somewhere. 10 kilometers was a lot of chain. The lab ended up being sort of a holding area. Even then, it wasn't big enough. Rocky, ever the talent engineer, made a large spool that could just barely fit through the airlock. With a whole bunch of EVAs, I mounted them to the hull, and I stored the chain on them 500-meter chunks. But of course, To do EVAs, I had to spin down the centrifuge, so everything from that point was in 0G. Every assembled chain in 0G, that's not fun. I'd like to use some chain in 0G, if you know what I mean. I'm just saying. The final assembly of those 500-meter chain chunks was challenging, to say the least. I had to connect all 20 of them together myself while wearing my EVA suit. Fortunately, I had the manipulator device from the IVME. NASA didn't intend for it to be a chain-making tool, but that's what I used it for. Now Rocky and I float into the control room. This is his bulb and he's in my pilot seat. Status of probe, I say. Rocky checks the readout. Device is functioning. Rocky had to do a good job on the sampler probe, at least. I think he did. Engineering isn't my forte. The sampler is a steel sphere, 20 centimeters across. It has a nice thick ring on top that connects to the chain. Small holes perforate the sphere along its equator. They lead along the hollow inner chamber. There's a pressure sensor in there and a few actuators. The pressure sensor knows when the probe is to the right altitude. When the trigger of the actuator seals off the chamber, it's a simple matter of rotating the inner chamber seals with a few degrees to deliberately misalign the holes in the outer sphere. That misalignment along some well-placed gaskets will seal the local air in the chamber. Wow. He also added a thermometer and a heater in there. Once the sampler seals, the heater to maintain whatever temperature the air inside started at. Samples, stuff, really, but I hadn't thought of it. Life can be pretty picky about its temperature ranges. The only remaining piece is a small radio transmitter that broadcasts a weird analog signal that wasn't able to read or decode my equipment. Apparently, it's very standard Iridium data collection, but he has the receiver for it, and that's what matters. Yes, P, that's the number of votes Starsod has, 14. That is correct. Just like that, with minimal complications, Rocky has made a life support system for Adrian life forms, a system that didn't need to know the conditions to provide in advance. It just maintains the status quo. He really is a genius. I wonder if Aridans are like that, or if he's special. I guess we're ready, I say. I'm not exactly brimming with confidence. Yes, he quivers. I strap myself into the pilot seat. He uses 3 of his hands to grip the handholds to his bulb. I bring up the altitude control panel and initiate a roll. Once I have the ship pointed backwards, I dedicate our travel in parallel to the ground below. A half rotation. Now we're hurtling along, butt first at 12 kilometers per second. I need to be in that almost zero. Orientation is good, I say. Initiating thrust. Yes, Rocky says. He watches his readout screen intently. I show him the texture vision of my own screen, thanks to the camera he set up earlier. Here goes. I fire the spin drives. We go from 0 Gs to 1.5 Gs in under a second. I am pressed back into my chair, and Rocky grabs the support with the 4th hand as I stand ready. As the Hail Mary slows down, our velocity can no longer keep us in orbit. I glance at the radar. Oh, shit, Southern Nation, come help me. The panelist confirms that we are losing altitude. Ah, shit, son. Get ready, folks. It's about to get deep. Here we go. The panel confirms we're losing altitude. Adjust the ship's altitude so we are pointed very slightly upward from the horizontal. Just a fraction of a degree. Even that small amount is too much. The radio shows us gaining altitude rapidly. I bring the angle back down. This is a sloppy, nasty, horrible way to fly a spacecraft. But it's all I have. There's no point of calculation this maneuver in advance. There are so many variables and the ways to mess up the math to be flying on manual almost immediately anyway. After a few more overcorrections, I get a feel for it. Increase the angle a bit by ship, slows down with respect to the planet. You tell me when to release probe, Rocky says. His claw hovers over the button, and that will eject the spools and let the chain fall freely. We can only hope it doesn't get tangled. Not yet, I say. The altitude screen shows and we're 9 degrees from horizontal. I need to get us to 60. Something catches my eye off to the right. It's an external camera feed. The planet below is glowing. Not the whole planet, just the bit right below us. It's the atmosphere retracting with the IR blast from the engine. The Hail Mary is dumping hundreds of thousands of more of energy into that spot on Tau Ceti does. The IR heats the air so much it ionizes and it literally red hot. The brightness increases as our angle gets more severe. Then the affected area starts to glow. I knew it would be significant. But I had no idea it would be like this. We're leaving a red streak across the sky, destroying anything in the air. The carbon dioxide is probably being ripped apart from pure heat energy into particulate carbon and free oxygen. The oxygen might not even be forming O2. That's a lot of heat. The engines are heating up Adrian's air a lot, I say. How much? No. Question. Sometimes I can see heat. What question? Why no tell me this? Question. It's related to sight. There's no time to explain it. Just trust me. We're making the atmosphere very hot. Danger. Question. I don't know. I don't like that response. We angle up and up and up and up. The glow behind us gets brighter and brighter. Finally, we reach the correct angle. Angle achieved, I say. Happy. Release. Question. Stand by. Velocity. I check the navigation console. 127.5 meters per second. Just what I calculated. Holy cow! It worked! It worked! Amazing. I feel the pull of Adrian tugging me into my seat. This is one of those frequencies I have to explain to my students. Gravity just doesn't go away when you're in orbit. In fact, the gravity you experience in orbit is pretty much the same as you experience on the ground. Weightlessness the astronauts experience while in orbit comes from constantly falling. But the curvature of the Earth makes the ground go away at the same rate you fall. So you just fall forever. The Hail Mary isn't falling anymore. The engines hold us up in the sky, and our tilt makes the scooch forward at 127 meters per second at about 285 miles per hour. Fast for a car, but amazingly slow for a spacecraft. The air behind us glows bright as the external camera shut down to protect its digitizer. The life support panel comes up on my main screen unprompted. External temperature extremes, it warms. Air is hot, I call out. Ship is hot. Ship, no touch air, Rocky says. Why is ship hot? Question. Air is bouncing our IR back at us. It's so hot now it emits our own IR. We're getting cooked. Your ship is astrophage cooled. Question. Yes, astrophage cools the ship. Astrophage conduit runs along the hull for just such the occasion. Well, not occasion of blasting a planet's atmosphere with so much IR light, the results can melt steel. But the general situation where heat builds up, mostly from sun or Talsetti heating the ship up and having nowhere to go. Astrophage absorb heat. We safe. Agree. We safe. And we ready. Drop probe. Drop probe. He slams his call to the drop button. I hear the scrape and the clink of the spools sliding off the hull one at a time and falling towards the planet below. 20 spools in all. Each one drops, unwinds before the next is released. Our best effort at keeping the chain from getting tangled. Spools 6 away, Rocky reports. The life support panel blinks its warning again. I'm muted again. Astrophase lives on star. I'm sure the little reflected IR light won't be too much heat for it to handle. Spool 12 away, Rocky says. Sampler signal good. Sampler detecting air now. Good, I say. Good, he says. Spool 18 away. Air density increase. With the external cameras offline, I can't see what's going on, but Rocky's readings are right in line with our planet. Right now, the chain is unfurling as it falls. Our angled engines keep us in sky, but nothing keeps the chain from falling straight down. Spool 20 away. All spools released. Air density and sampler is almost astrophage breeding ground level. I watch Rocky with bated breath. Sampler has closed. Seal is airtight. Heater is on. Success, success, success. Success, I yell. It's working. It's actually working. We have a sample of Adrian air from astrophage breeding zone. If there are predators, they have to be there, right? I hope so. Step 2 now, I sigh. This is not going to be fun. I unhitch my restraints and climb out of the chair. Adrian's 1.4 Gs pulls me down at a 30-degree angle. The whole room feels tilted because actually it is tilted. This isn't the engine thrust I'm feeling. It's gravity! A 1.4 Gs isn't too bad. Everything's a bit harder, but not unreasonably so. I climb up to the Orlan EVA suit. This is going to be difficult, to say the least. I have to go outside and do an EVA while completely under the effects of gravity. Needless to say, absolutely no part of the EVA suit in the airlock in my training was remotely designed for this possibility. Who would have thought I would have to tromp around on the ship in full gravity? More than full, in fact. Yet, however much gravity there is, there'll still be air. Worst of all worlds, but there's no other way. I have to get the sample. Right now, the sampler hangs at the end of the 10-kilometer chain, which is dangling in the air. There's no easy way for us to get back to the ship. When planning it all out, my first thought was to thrust away from the planet and collect the sampler when we're back to 0G. Problem is, there's no literal way to do that without vaporizing the sampler. Any path I take to try to get the ship out of Adrian's gravity or even the stable orbit will mean using the spin drives. They push the ship along, which makes the chain and the sample lag behind us. So the IR blast behind the ship and literally sample everything in. The chain all becomes individual, very hot atoms. The next idea was to have a huge spool that I could winch up the chain, but Rocky informed me he'd never be able to make a spool big enough and strong enough to bring up the entire 10 kilometers of length. God, yeah, he's not going to be able to lift it up by his hand. Rocky had a pretty clever thought. The sampler could climb the chain when it was done, but after some experimenting, he ditched that idea. It was just a risk it wasn't worth. So we have this other plan. I grab a special winch Rocky designed and attach it to my suit's belt. Be careful, Rocky says. You are a friend now. Thanks, I say. You are a friend also. Thank. I cycle the airlock and go outside. Oh, shit. We got a wheel spin, but oh, fuck me running. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Oh, Lord. It's ho. Still spinning. Man, got a good spin on that one. Got a good spin on that one. Got a good spin on that one. We did. Oh, when the moon hatched. When the moon hatched. When the moon hatched. We got a buzzard. Days. All right, here we go. This is a strange experience. Space is black. The planet is majestic below me. Everything looks like it should win in orbit. But there's gravity. A red glow from the planet peeks out around the edges of the Hail Mary. I'm no dope. No siree. I'm going to live to be 103 because I'm not doing a spacewalk. I orientate the ship to make sure it would shield me from the deadly heat bouncing up from the atmosphere. The airlock door is up. I have pulled myself and 100 pounds of gear up through the opening. I now have to do it in 1.4 Gs. It takes me a full 5 minutes. I grunt. I say a bunch of not really profane things. I thought he was finally going to say some of that, but then I get it done. As soon as I'm standing on the top of my ship, one misstep and I fall to my schmeth. It wouldn't have waited long for me either. As soon as I fell below the ship, the engine punched my ticket. I attach a tether to the handrail of my feet. Will a 0G tether save me if I fall? It's not mountain climbing gear. It wasn't made for this. Better than nothing, I guess. We walk along the hull toward the chain anchor point. It's a large xenonite square that Rocky made. He explained a great deal of how to adhere to the hull. Looks like he did a good job. Just fine. The chain is still attached. I reach in and get down on my hands and knees, and gravity is absolutely brutal in the AVA suit. No part of this is how things are supposed to be. I hook my possibility worthless tether to the nearest handrail and pull my winch tool to my belt. The chain hangs away at a 30-degree angle and disappears into the planet below. It just goes so far away that it's too thin for me to perceive after a kilometer or so. But I know from Rocky's reading it's a full 10 kilometers down. So with the sample container, a full potential salvation for 2 entire planets full of people. Well, people is a loose term. I wedge the winch between the chain and the anchor plate. The chain doesn't budge, not even a millimeter. But that was expected. There's just no way a human muscle could move something that heavy. I hooked the winch to the anchor plate, and the casing of the winch is xenonite. So the xenonite to xenonite connection should have plenty of strength for what comes next. I smacked the winch a couple of times just to make sure it's properly seated. It is. Then I press the activation button. A gear pops out of the center of the winch and a cog catching the tank linked through the center. The gear turns and drags the chain into the internal working of the winch. Inside, it rotates the links 180 degrees, then slides across its neighbor and releases it. When I made the chain, we did it with a trap. Links that can connect without having to seal each one. It's extremely unlikely that random movements would separate the links. But the winch is deliberately designed to just do that. Once a link is freed, the winch ejects it out of the side and repeats the process for the next link. The winch works, I say through my radio. Happy, comes Rocky's voice. It's a simple, straightforward, elegant, and solves all the problems. The winch is powerful enough to lift the chain. It separates the links and lets them fall to the planet below. Having a long length of chain dangling down to the next one, or pulling up what a would-be disaster. Imagine earbud wires getting tangled, then multiplying that by 10 kilometers. What? That would suck ass. No, each link will take its own path to oblivion below, and the raising chain will be unaffected. When the winch get to link 216, you increase speed. Yes, I have no idea how many links it's done so far, but it's plunging along nicely. Probably about 2 links per second. A safe, slow beginning. I watched for 2 minutes. That's probably right. All good. At least 216 links now. Increased speed. 2 links per second may seem like a good clip, but it would take about 30 hours to raise the chain at that rate. I don't want to be here that long, and we definitely don't want to stay in this risky, consistent thrust situation for that long. I press the control lever forward. The winch speeds up. Everything seems fine, so I position them. I put it in the final position. Now the links fly out of the winch faster than I can count, and the chain raises at a brisk pace. With the winch at maximum speed, all is good. Happy! I keep my hands on the control lever, my eyes on the cabin. If the sampler chain gets to the winch and everything goes south, the sampler container will be torn apart and the samples will die, and then we'll have to make another chain. I don't want to do that. Lord, I cannot express how much I do not want to do that. I squint into the distance, ever vigilant. Boredom is a real problem here. I don't know, it'll take quite a while to pull up this whole chain, but I have to be ready for the sampler. Sample device radio signal stronger, Rocky says. Getting closer. Be ready. I'm ready. Be very ready. I am very ready. Be calm. Am calm. You be calm. No, you be calm. Wait, I see the sampler. The end of the chain with the sampler attached rushes up towards me from the planet below. I grab the control lever. Slow the winch. The sampler climbs slower and slower until it's at a crawl. All but the last few links of the chain fall to their doom and the sampler is within reach. I stop the winch. Rather than risk it stupidly dropping the big orb, I grab the top remaining link of the chain and unhitch it from the winch. Now that I have a ball and chain, I hang on to the chain for dear life. I clip it to my belt. I still don't let it go. I'm not taking any chances with this. Status? Question? I have the sampler. Returning. Amaze!
Amaze, amaze, amaze.
Happy, happy, happy. Don't be happy until I'm inside. Understand. I take 2 steps and the ship shutters. I fall to the hull and grab 2 handrails. What the heck is that? I not know. Ship move. Sudden. The ship shutters again. This time a steady pull. We're thrusting in the wrong direction. Get inside. Fast, fast, fast. The horizon rises in my view. The Hail Mary isn't maintaining her angle anymore. She's tilting forward. This is absolutely not supposed to be happening. I clamber the handhold and the handhold. I don't have time to attach the tether with each step. I just have to hope I don't fall. Another sudden jerk and the hull swipes sideways under my feet. I fall back, but I keep my death grip on the sampler chain. What is going on? No time to think. I have to get inside before the ship capsizes and kills me. I cling to the handholds for dear life, and I crawl to the airlock. Thank God it's still facing more and less up. I hold the sampler to my chest and fall inside. I land head first. Good for me, the Orland's helmet is so sturdy. I squirm to my feet as best I can to the clunky spacesuit. I reach up and grab the outer hatch and slam it closed. I cycle the airlock and get out of the suit as fast as I can. I leave the sampler in the airlock now. I need to know what the heck is wrong with the ship. I half climb, half fall into the control room. Rocky is in the burb. Screens flashing many colors. He yells over the dins, points to the camera here. There, watching the feed on the texture screen. Metallic groan screams from somewhere down below. Something is bending and doesn't want to. I think it's the hull. I get into the control seat, no time to strap in. Where's that noise coming from? All around, he says, with the loudest at starboard dormitory wall segment bending inward. Something's tearing the ship apart. It's gotta be gravity. Agree. That's what bothers me in the back of my mind. The ship was made for acceleration to endure 4 years at 1.5 Gs. Surely can handle this similar force. Something doesn't add up. Bum, bum, bum. Rocky grabs several of his handholds for support. We have sampler. We leave now. Yeah, let's get out of here. We throw the spin drive controls into full. The ship can pull 2 Gs when push comes to shove, and I think push has definitely come to shove. The ship launches forward. This is not graceful, well-executed burn. This is nothing short of panic flight. Oh no! We lost it for a second. I think we lost everybody for a second. I think we had a glitch. All right, I think we're good. The efficient way to leave gravity well is literally take the advantage of the orbit effect. I will keep us more or less level of the ground. I'm not trying to get away from Adrian. I just want to get into its stable orbit that doesn't need engines to maintain. I need velocity, not distance. Yeah, I think we had a little glitch there. Okay, we're back, I think. I think we're back for a second. All right. I need to keep the drives at full power for 10 minutes. That should get us 12 kilometers per second we need to stay in orbit. I just need to point a little bit above the horizon and thrust. At least that's what I want. But it's not happening. Bum, bum, bum. The ship keeps yawing forward and drifting literally. Oh, what's going on? Something's wrong, I say. She's fighting me. Rocky has no trouble hanging on. He has multiples of my strength. Engines damaged? Question. Much heat from Adrian? Maybe. I checked the nav console. We're gaining velocity. That's something at least. Excuse me. Hull bending in big room dormitory below, Rocky says. What? There's no room below. Oh, he can sense the whole ship from his echolocation, not just the habitation areas. So when he says big room below the dormitory, he means the fuel tanks. Oh dear. Turn off engines. Questions? No, we're going too slow. We'll fall into the atmosphere. Understand? Hope? Hope. Yes, hope. That's all we have at this point. Hope the ship doesn't wreck itself before we get into a stable orbit. The next several minutes are the tensest of my life, and if I may say so, I've had some pretty tense moments these past few years. The hull continues to make horrible noises, but we're not dead, so I guess it didn't breach. Finally, after what seems like a whole lot of 10 minutes, our velocity is enough to stay in orbit. Velocity good. Stopping engines. All right, Bill, no worries. Have a good night. Get some good sleep. Love ya. Have a good one. I let my head fall back to the headrest in relief. Now we can take our time and figure out what went wrong. We need to use the engines too. Wait, my head fell back into the headrest. I fell back to the headrest. I hold my arms out in front of me, then relax them. They fall down to the left. Ugh, gravity's still here, he says. Rocky, echoing my observations. I check the nav console. Our velocity is good. We're in a stable orbit around Adrian. Well, actually, it's as ugly as heck. The apogee is 2,000 kilometers further from the planet pedigree, but it's in orbit, darn it, and it's stable. I check the spin drive panel again. All 3 drives are at 0. No thrust at all. I delve into the diagnostic screen and confirm that each of the 1,009 revolving triangles spread throughout the 3 drives is stationary. They are. I let my arm fall again. It does the same strange movement down to the left. Rocky does a similar motion with one of his arms. Adrian gravity. Question? No, we're in orbit. I scratch my head. Spin drive. Question? No, it's offline. There's no thrust. I let my arm fall again. This time, it hits the armrest of the seat. Ow! I shake my hand. That really hurt. I let it fall off again as an experiment. It fell faster this time. That's why it hurt. Rocky pulls several turds from his jumpsuit bandolier and drops them into time. Gravity increasing. This doesn't make any sense, I say. I check the nav panel again. Our speed has increased considerably since I last looked. Our velocity is increasing. Engines on. Only explanation. Can't be. The spin drives are off. There's nothing to accelerate us. Force increasing, he says. Yes, I say. Having trouble breathing now. Whatever we're at, it's much higher than a G or 2. Things are getting out of hand. With all my strength, I reach the screen and cycle through the panels. Navigation, petroscope, external view, life support. Each one seems completely normal until I reach structure. I never paid a lot of attention to the structure panel. It's just a gray outline of the ship. But now, for the first time, it has something to say. There's an irregular red blotch at the port of the fuel tank. That's a hull breach. It could be. The fuel tanks are outside the pressure vessel. There could be a huge hole in them and it wouldn't let air loose air. There's a hole in the ship, I say. I struggle to switch back to the external cameras. Rocky watches my screen with his camera and texture badge. He's doing fine. No problem at all from the tremendous forces. I angle the cameras around and look at the affected hull. And there it is. A massive hole in the port side of the ship. Must be 20 meters long and half as wide. The edges of the hole tell a tale. The hole melted. It was a blowback from the Adrian's atmosphere. Not a physical explosion, but pure, unadulterated infrared light reflecting off the air. The ship tried to warn me that the hole got too hot. I should have listened. I thought the hole couldn't melt. I thought it was cool with astrophage. But of course it can melt. Even if astrophage is a perfect heat absorber, and it may be, the heat has to conduct through the metal before it can be absorbed. If the outer layer of the hull reaches its melting point faster than the heat can transmit through the thickness of the hull, then the astrophage can't do nothing about it. Confirmed. Hull breach. Port. Fuel tank. Why thrust? Question. It all comes together. Oh crap, the astrophage in the fuel bay. It's exposed to space. That means it can see Adrian. My fuel is migrating to Adrian to breed. Bad, bad, bad. That's where the thrust is from. Trillions and trillions of horny little astrophages all ready to breed, and then all at once they see Adrian, not just a source of carbon dioxide, but their ancestral homeland. I'm coming home to a place where I belong. I'm just some astrophage that wants to breed. Woo! That was a good one. That was a good one, y'all. The planet they evolved over billions of years to seek out. At each of the new sheets of astrophage rushes out of the ship towards Adrian, the next layer of astrophage gets exposed. The ship is being pushed away by the IR thrust from the departing astrophage. Fortunately, the rest of the astrophage behind them are present to absorb the energy. But in absorbing that energy, they absorb the momentum. It's far from a perfect system. It's a chaotic, sputtering explosion. Any second now. This could degenerate into a much larger and less directed plume of IR, and while vaporized, I have to make this stop. I can jettison my fuel bays. I saw the feature on my first day in the control room. Where the heck was it? It takes all my strength. I have to lift my arm to the screen, but I managed to bring up the astrophage panel. It shows a map of the ship, and the fuel bay of the area is broken into 9 rectangles. I don't have time to cross-reference these rectangles to be part of the bad hole. I grunt. I force my arm forward. I tap the one that I think is the right one. Throwing away bad fuel bay, I say, clenched teeth. Yes, 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 Rocky says, cheering me on. Fuel pod screen pops up. Astrophage, 112.09 kilograms. Next to that button labeled jettison. I punch it. Confirm dialogue pumps up. Confirm. A sudden jerk of acceleration hurls me to my side. Rocky is unable to hold position. He slams into the side of the bulb, quickly rights himself. The clamps his hand holds with 5 hands. The hole groans louder than before. Acceleration is stopped and my vision grows foggy. The pilot's seat begins to bend and I'm about to black out, so we're probably at 6 Gs or more. Thrust continues. Rocky quivers. I can't rely. I can't sound it all out. I can't sound out at all. I know the fuel bay I jettisoned was the one affected area. There must be more than one breach by bay. No time to be subtle. A few seconds I have will force be too strong to reach the screen at all. If there's a second breach bay, it'll be adjusted in the bay I just ditch. There are 2 adjacent bays. I pick one at random, 50-50 shot. With a Herculean effort, I tap the icon, the jettison button, and confirm. A jolt rocks to the ship, and I'm thrown around like a rag doll. In the ever-darkening peripheral vision, I see Rocky curled up in a ball, bouncing against the walls, leaving silver blood splatters everywhere he hits. If anything, the force is worse than before. But wait, now it's the other direction. Instead of being pulled back to my seat, I'm now being pulled away from it. My body presses into the restraints. The centrifuge screens of all things come into foreground. Excessive centrifuge warning. It blinks. I say. I mean to say, oh God, but I can't breathe anymore. All the fuel blasting out into space. It didn't politely leave all along the ship's axis. It blew at an angle, spinning us like a top. And the exploding bay probably made things even worse. Well, I stopped the fuel leak, but at least there's new thrust vectors acting at the ship. Now I just have to deal with the spin. Manage to breathe in. The centrifugal force is less than uncontrollable thrust force. But it's still monumental. But hey, at least I pull my arms towards the screen instead of away from it. If I can get the spin drives back on live, maybe I can cancel the... My seat finally gives out. I hear the pop of the anchors shear off. I fall forward. Bang! Into the screen. Strapped to a metal seat, which crushes me from behind. The chair probably doesn't weigh much in normal gravity, maybe 20 kilograms. With this much centripetal force, it's like having a cement block in my back. I can't breathe. This is it. The weight of the chair is so much I can't inflate my lungs. I get dizzy. Mechanical suffocation, it's called. It's how boa constrictors kill their prey. What an odd thing to think is my last thought. Sorry, Earth, I think. There must be better the last thought. My lungs now full of carbon dioxide. Panic. The adrenaline rush doesn't give me the strength I need to escape. It just keeps me awake so I can experience death in more detail. Thanks to adrenal glands. The groan of the ship has stopped. I guess anything that was going to break has broken, and all that's left is the stuff that can handle the stress. My eyes water. They sting. Why am I crying? I have personally failed my entire species, and they're all going to die because of it. It's a good reason to cry, but this is an emotion. It's pain. My nose hurts too. It's not from physical pressure or anything. Something burns my nasal passages from inside. Something probably broke open in the lab. Some nasty chemical. Just as well I can't breathe. I probably wouldn't like the smell. And then out of nowhere, I can breathe again. I don't know how or why, but I gasp and wheeze. In my newfound freedom, I immediately fall in a violent coughing fit. Ammonia. Ammonia everywhere. It's overpowering. My lungs scream. My eyes water over. Then there's a new smell. Fire. I roll around to see Rocky hovering over me. Not in his compartment. He's in the control room. He slashed my restraints and pulled the chair free. He shoves it to the side. He stands over me, wobbling. I can feel the heat radiating from my body just inches away. Smoke bellows out of the radiator slits at the top of his caprice. His knees buckle and collapse at the screen next to me, destroying it. The LED blackouts on the plastic bezel melts. I see a trail of smoke leading to the tunnel of the lab beyond. Rocky, what have you done? The crazy bastard must have used a large airlock in the dormitory. He came into my partition to save me. He'll die because of it. He shivers and folds his legs under himself. Save Earth. Save Irid. He quivers. He then slumps down. Rocky. I grab his caprice without thinking. It's like putting my hands on a burner. I jerk away. Rocky, no! But he's motionless. Let's get us a little spinny spin after that. Let's give us a little spinny spin. Oh, wow. This is just, God bless it.
Chode Barlow.
And I'm Jonas, and we have a song for you.
I know, right? How horrible is that? In the last letter. All right, let's just get into 20. 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 Rocky's body heats up the whole room. I can barely move. The force of the centrifuge is so great. I groan, pushing myself off the cracked monitor. I drag myself across the shards of the next monitor over. I try not to lift too much of my body at a time. I have to save my strength. about that? Did it make it better? All right. Whew. I drag myself across the shards. I try not to lift too much of my body at one time. I have to save my strength. It helps a little. I'm sorry. I slide my fingers on the one monitor to the edge and tap the screen select button at the bottom. I've got one chance at this. I remember the navigation controls. The manual control section has a button to zero out all rotation. I'm mighty tempting right now, but I can't risk it. The fuel bay is wide open. I've jettisoned a couple pods. I have no idea what the other damage might have been done. The last thing I want to do is fire up the spin drives, even the little ones that do a little altitude control. I bring up the centrifugal screen. It blinks red and white, still angry with the excessive tumbling the ship is undergoing. With effort, I dismiss the warning, and I enter the manual mode. There's a bunch of, hey, don't do this kind of dialogue, but I dismiss them all. Soon I have direct control over the cable spools. I set them spinning at max. The room spins and tilts in weird ways. My inner ears and eyes are not enjoying the discrepancies. I know it's because two halves of the ship are separating and then nasty effects of the force field here to the control room, which logic doesn't do any good in this situation. I turn my head and vomit on the wall. After a few seconds, the force reduces dramatically. Much more manageable now. Less than 1G, actually. All thanks to that magic centrifugal math. The force you feel in a centrifuge is inverse to the square of the radius. By the spooling of the cables, I made the radius go from 20 meters, half the length of the ship, to 75, distance from the control room to the center of the mast with the fully cable extended. I don't know how much force I was dealing with before, but that's now 1/14 as much as it was. I still plan against the monitor. I'm still pinned against the monitor. Not nearly as hard. I estimate about half a G. Can breathe again. Everything feels upside down. I use the centrifuge in manual mode, so I don't exactly know what I told it to do and nothing else. It extended the cables. It did not rotate the crew compartment to face inward. The centrifuge pushes everything towards the nose of the compartment. The lab is up for me now. The dormitory is even further up. I don't even know where the manual controls for the crew compartment rotation are, and I don't have time to look for them. For now, I have to work upside down land. I bounce the airlock open and open it up. Everything is in shambles inside, but I don't care. Untangled. The wadded up EVA suit and detached gloves. I put them on. Back in the control room, I stand on the consoles. The control panels are down now. I hope I'm not damaging things too much. I position myself over Rocky's body. Grab both sides of his caprice with my gloved hands and lift. Good God. I put him back down. If I try to move him like that, I'll throw up my back. But I did lift him, however briefly. It felt like 200 pounds. Thank gods we're in half gravity. He weighed 400 pounds at full gravity. I need more than my hands. What's up, love? Yeah, baby, go ahead. Absolutely, yeah. Love you, baby girl. I need more than my hands to lift him. I throw the gloves and bounce to the back of the airlock and fling the items inside and find the two safety tethers. I wrap two tethers around Rocky's caprice and loop them over my shoulders. I burn my arms in several places during the process, but I'll deal with that later. I clip each tether to itself under my armpits. This won't be comfortable. It definitely won't look cool. But my hands will be free, and I'll be lifting with my legs. I reach through the hatchway in the lab of both hands and get a hold of the closed rung in the ladder. It's slow, going at first. There's no ladder in the control room. Why would there be? No thought it would be upside down. No shoulder screaming pain. It's not a well-designed backpack with properly distributed load. It's 200 pounds of alien held up by two thin straps digging into my collarbone, and I just have to hope the melting point of the nylon tethers is higher than Rocky's body temperature. I grunt and grimace in one rung at a time until I get my feet into the lab. I use the edge of the halfway to brace my feet and pull Rocky up with the straps. The lab is a disaster. Everything is in piles over the ceiling. Only the table and chairs remain on the floor above me. They're bolted to the floor, and thankfully, most of the more delicate equipment is bolted to them. However, delicate over-the-shelf lab equipment wasn't designed to be rattled around like popcorn. I subject to 6 or 7 Gs. I wonder how many things are hopelessly broken. The gravity is less up here. I am closer to the center of the centrifuge. The higher I get, the easier things will be. I kick the lab supplies and equipment out of my way and drag Rocky to the dormitory hatchway. I repeat the painful process I just did a moment ago. The force is less, but it still hurts again. I use the hatchway as a bracing point to pull Rocky into the room. A little section of the dormitory barely fits us both. Rocky's section is a mess, just like the lab. His workbench wasn't bolted in place, so it's on the ceiling now. I drag him across the ceiling and I get into my bunk. It has the swivel completely around, thanks to the rocking pivot mount. It's a handy platform for reaching the airlock between my zone and Rocky's. The airlock slits open and he's on my side. He used to come to save me. Man, he used it to come save me. Man, why'd he do that? I gasped. He could have let me die. He should have, really. He could have handled the centripetal force. No problem. He could have taken his time, whipped up an invention, and used it to get back control of the ship. Yeah, I know he's a good guy, and he saved my life, but this isn't about us. He has a planet to save. Why risk his life, his whole mission, for me? Oh no, it looks like Tiki Talkie's dropping frames again. Oh well, we're just gonna keep going. Sorry, Tiki Talkie, we're gonna keep going. The airlock doesn't reach the ceiling, so I have to play The Floor is Lava to get in. I hop on the back of the airlock from my bunk, then use the straps to pull Rocky within me. I start to climb back out, and that's when I see the airlock control panels, or rather, I see the destroyed box that was once an airlock control panel. Oh, come on, I yell. Both sides of the airlock had control panels, so either Rocky and I could operate as needed, but mine are ruined, probably smacked by some debris flying during the chaos. I have to get him back to the environment, but how? Oh, what's happening? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think Tiki Talkie's about to crash. What are we saying here? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Frame drops are going. I think we're about to lose the Tiki Talkie. Oh, well. I will be on the Yubi-Tubi, folks. Hopefully, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oof. Oh no. Yeah, that's done now. Oh well. It's still nothing. Man. I don't know what's happening. Oh well, we'll finish up the story. Here it is. But now I'm on a ruin, probably smacking some debris flying around the chaos. I have to get him back into his environment, but how? I have an idea. It's not a good idea. There's an emergency valve in the airlock chamber itself that I can let it air in from Rocky's side. There's a cover, a very specific edge case. There's no way I can ever enter Rocky's area, that ship. I certainly can't handle this environment of my EVA suit would be crushed like a grape. But Rocky can come. What's up, love? Looks like the Tiki Talkie dropped. I don't know. I'm even having frame rate drops here. I wonder if the internet's going poopy right now. I don't know. So I stopped it on the Tiki Talkie and we're just going. But I'll finish this chapter. So there's just an extra to be safe. But in emergency, while Rocky was in a ball in the airlock, there's a relief valve where let the air from the side vent in. And a large iron lever so I can manipulate with the magnets Rocky carries with him while in the ball. I look at the lever in the airlock. I glance at the airlock's door of my compartment. It's in a spinning wheel. I look back at the lever, then back to the door. I coil my muscles and mentally count to 3. I pull the lever and leap. You need some help? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The Tiki, it started glitching and it says I've got frame drops and it glitched out. So I'm not really sure. So it's just me and you here, I believe. So I'm just going to finish out the chapter and we'll just go from there. I don't know. No idea. My eyes burn like they're on fire. My lungs feel like 100 knives are having a dance-off. My skin is numb along my left side. My nose, forget it. The smell is overpowering. My sense of smell just gives up. My throat completely closes. My body wants to do nothing with the ammonia. Come I wheeze. Computer. I want to die. Pain is everywhere. I climb into my bunk. Help, I wheeze. Multiple injuries, says the computer. Excessive eye mucus, blood around the mouth, second-degree burns, breathing distress. Triage, result, incubate. Mechanical arms, which thankfully don't seem to have any problem with being upside down, grab me and something shoved violently down my throat. I feel a poke in my good arm. IV fluids and sedation, the computer reports, and then I'm out like a light. I'll do all the spins at the end. You want to count the spins? Unless you want to go spin.
How many spins?
One right now. We'll just do all the spins at the end. One spin. It's going to be a while, just remember, yeah. I wake up to cover in medical equipment and pain. There's an oxygen mask on my face. My right arm has an IV and my left arm is bandaged from waist to shoulder. It hurts like heck. Everything else hurts too, especially my eyes. But at least I can see that good. Computer, I say with a raspy voice. How long have I been asleep? Unconscious, lasted 6 hours, 17 minutes. I take a deep breath. My lungs feel like they're coated in tar. Probably phlegm or some other gunk. I look over Rocky's area. He's right where I left him, in the airlock. How can I tell if Eridan is dead? If the Eridan is dead. When Rocky sleeps, all movement stops. But that also presumes what happens when an Eridan dies. I spot a pulse ox monitor on the right index finger. Computer, I cough. Computer, what is my blood oxygen content? 91%. It'll have to do. I take my mask off and sit up in bed. My bandaged arm stings with every movement. I pull various things off my body. I open and close my left hand. It's working. The muscles are only a little bit sore. I got hit with a quick blast of very hot, very pressured ammonia. Most likely I'll have a chemical burn in my lungs and my eyes, and probably physical burns in my arms. My left side took the blunt of the blast. 29 atmospheric pressures at 210 degrees Celsius over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That must be what a grenade feels like. Side note, with no one manning the helm, it's pure luck we didn't crash into the planet. The ship is either at a stable orbit, or we escaped Adrian's gravity completely. I shake my head. It's truly ridiculous how much power I have sitting in the fuel bay to not even know if I'm still near a planet. Wow. I'm lucky to be alive. There's no other way to put it. Anything I do beyond that movement is just a gift from the universe to me. I step off the bed and stand in front of the airlock. Gravity is still at 1.5 G, and everything is still upside down. What can I do for Rocky? I sit on the floor opposite of his body. I put my hand on the air wall. It feels too melodramatic, so I pull it back. Okay. I know the very basic of Iridian biology. This doesn't make me a doctor. I grab a tablet and swipe through various documents I've made. I don't remember everything he told me, but at least I took copious notes. When severely wounded, an Iridian body will shut down so it can try to work on everything at once. I hope Rocky's little cells are doing their thing in there, and I hope they know how to fix damage done by 1, dropping air pressure, to 29, whatever has evolved to live in, being suddenly exposed to a bunch of oxygen, and 3, being almost 200 degrees colder than his body expects. I shake it off and worry and return to my notes. Here I say, there's information I need. Those capillaries in his caprice radiator are made of deoxidized metal alloys. The ambulance circulatory system pumps his mercury-based blood through those vessels, and the air presses over them. In Eridan's oxygen-free atmosphere, this makes perfect sense. In ours, it makes a perfect tinderbox. A bunch of oxygen just passed over a very hot metal pipe, no thicker than the human air. They burn. There's smokes all coming out of Rocky's vents. His radiator was literally on fire. Jesus. The whole organ must be completely full of soot and other combustion products. And the capillaries will be coated in oxides, which will ruin heat conductivity. Heck, oxides are insulators. The worst possible outcome. Okay, if he's dead, he's dead. I can't do any further harm. But he's alive. I have to help. There's no reason to try. But what do I do? Where to? 2 spins. So many pressures, so many temperatures, so many mixtures. I have to keep track of them all. My own environment, Rocky's environment, And now Adrian is astrophage breeding ground environment too. But first, gravity. I'm sick of living in the Poseidon adventure. Time to right this ship. I make my way back down to the control room. The center panel is ruined, but the others work fine, and they're interchangeable anyway. I mount the replacement in the middle of them when I have time. I bring up the centrifuge screen and poke around at the controls a bit. I finally find the crew's manual crew compartment rotation. They were buried pretty deep in the options. I'm glad I didn't try to find them during the crisis. I order the crew compartment to rotate. Very, very slow. I set the rate at 1 degree per second. It takes 3 minutes to turn. I hear a lot of clunks and thunks and crashes from the labs. I don't care about any of that. I just want to make sure Rocky doesn't get further injured. The slow rate should make his body slide along the airlock ceiling, then along the outer wall, and finally to the floor. That's the plan anyway. Once the rotation is complete, things are back to feeling normal. I bet at half a G. I go back down to the dormitory to check on Rocky. He's now on the airlock floor. He's still right side up. Good. He slid rather than tumbled. I really wanted it to work on that. What? I really want to work on Rocky, but I have to make sure the adventure that I may have won't kill him wasn't in vain. I grab the sampler container from the ship's airlocks. I'm kind of glad I left it there. Honestly, it got cushioned from the crazy sudden acceleration, but the EVA wadded up with it. Rocky had the foresight to put readouts on the samplers to tell us what the temperature and pressure were inside. They were analog detectors in meridian-based numerology, but I have seen enough of that to be able to translate. The inside of the ball is minus 51 degrees Celsius, with a pressure of 0.02 atmospheres. And I know from my spectrometer, what? It's cold. Earlier, that the astromeric makeup is. Okay, that's the environment I have to duplicate. I sort of thought that's what was left of the lab. It's slowly going because I have minimal use of my left arm. All done? Nice. But I can't use it to help slide things along, at least. Just no heavy lifting for now. I find a vacuum container. That's only a little broken. It's a drum-shaped glass cylinder about 1 foot in diameter. I patch a crack of epoxy and I give it a test. It's able to pump up the air out to maintain a vacuum. If it can still maintain a vacuum, it can maintain 0.02 atmospheres. I put the sampler container inside. The storage cabinet is still firmly attached to the wall. I open it up. Everything jumbled around inside. Of course, most containers look intact. I grab a small vial of Earth astrophage. There's about 1 gram in there, included the supplies for the testing purposes. I can always get more if needed. All I have to do is cut any of the astrophage-based coolant lines in the hull. There's no need for that right now. The sampler is an oily sludge at the bottom of the vial. I open the vial and scoop it out with a cotton swab. 1 gram of astrophage has 100 trillion joules of energy. Best not to think about it. I smear the astrophage along the inner wall of the vacuum chamber and drop a cotton swab next to it to sample the probe. I pump all the air out of the vacuum chamber. The chemistry supplies include several smaller cylinders of gas. Thankfully, steel cylinders are tough, and they survive the game of cosmic ping ball we just went through. I add gases into the vacuum chamber one at a time, though the in-feed valve I want to replicate Adrian's atmosphere. I pump in carbon dioxide, methane, and even argon. I don't imagine the argon will matter. It's a noble gas. It's very, very noble. So it shouldn't react with stuff. But that's what I used to think about xenon, and then it turned out to be wrong. I don't have any way to chill the air in there to minus 50 degrees, so I'll just have to hope whatever the life inside can handle Earth room temperature. I hear a click, and just as I finish putting the argon in, it's the sampler, just as Rocky designed them to do. Little valves open when the outside pressure matched the pressure of the astrophage, breeding altitude on Adrian. Good old Rocky, best engineer I ever met. Oh, Rocky. Okay, I made the samples as safe as I can. The air composition, the pressure is as close to the native environment as I could get it. There's plenty of astrophage to eat. There are microscopic predators in there. They should be in good shape. I wipe my brow with my bandaged arm, immediately regret it. I wince in pain. How hard is it, Rylan? I seethe myself. Stop using your burned up arm. I climb back down the ladder to the dormitory. Computer, painkillers. The arm reach up and hand me a paper cup with 2 pills in it and a paper cup of water. I take the pills without checking what they are. I look back at my friend and try to come up with a plan. Another spin.
3.
Thank you. It's been over a day since I shoved Rocky into the airlock and he still hasn't moved. But I haven't been wasting my time. I've been mad sciencing some inventions in the lab. The kind of gadget creation is really Rocket's forte, but I give it my best. I thought about lots of different approaches, but in the end, I think I should let Rocky's body heat heal itself as much as possible. I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to operate on a human, let alone an Iridian. His body should know what to do. I just have to let it. That doesn't mean I'm going to do nothing at all, though. I have a guess. Excuse me. I have a guess as to what's going on. And if I'm wrong, my idea for treatment won't hurt. Right now, there's a bunch of soot and other combustions byproduct crap in this radiator organ. So it probably doesn't work well, if he's alive at all. I'll take his body a long time to clear it out. Maybe too long. So maybe I can help. I held the box in my hand. It's enclosed on 5 or 6 sides with the remaining side open. The walls are 4-inch thick steel. It took me all day to repair the mill and to get it working again. But once I did, milling up this box was a breeze. Inside is a high-powered air pump. Simple as that. I can shoot high-pressure air really hard. I tested it out in the lab and I blew a hole in a 1mm thick sheet of aluminum from a foot away. It really works. I wish I could claim I am a genius who made all this from scratch, but in reality, I only made the box. The pump is repurposed from a high-pressure tank. Also in the box is a battery and a camera. Excuse me. Some stepper motors and a drill. All I need are these things for my plan to work. I've cleaned up the lab somewhat. Most of the equipment is ruined, but some might be fixable. I crossed over the other side of the table, where I have another experiment. I have a little chip of xenonite, some chaff left over from when I made 200,000 chains lease. I've used a generous application of epoxy to glue it to the tip, just the tip, of a roughed up drill bit. It's been setting for over an hour. Should be done. I pick up the bit and the xenonite comes with it. I use all my strength to pull them apart. I can't. I nod and I smile. This might work. I do a few more tests with the box. My remote control for the motor works well enough. It's not enough. It's not a true remote control. It's a bank of switches attached to a plastic container lid. I have wires from switches going through the tiny holes in the steel which fill up with the resin, and I can turn the power on or off of any of the components in there. That's my remote control. I can only hope the motors don't have a problem with high heat ammonia. I bring everything to the dormitory and prep the epoxy. I sit together and apply it generously to the edges of the steel boxes I open sides. I press the box to the airlock and wall and hold it in place. Then I just stand there 10 minutes holding the boxes in place. I could have tapped into the wall and something while the epoxy set, but I need a really good seal and don't want to take any chances. Human hands are better clamps than any tool I might have in the lab. I gingerly release the box and I wait for it to fall. It doesn't. I poke it a couple times and it seems pretty solid. It's 5-minute epoxy, but it'll give it an hour to fully set. I return to the lab. I may as well, right? Let's see what my little alien friend terrarium is up to. Nothing much as it happens. I don't know what I expected. Little flying saucers whizzing around the chamber maybe, but the cylinder looks exactly like it did before. The sampler sits where I left it. The smear of astrophage is unchanged. The cotton swab is... Hey. I hunker down and take a seat. I squint in the chamber. Cotton swab has changed. Just a little bit. It's fluffier. Sweet. Maybe there's something on there I could get a look at. I just need to get it under a microscope to... Oh. The realization dawns on me. I don't have a way to extract the samples. I just plain overlooked that. Dummy! I smack my forehead. I rub my eyes between the pain of my burns and dopiness of the painkillers. It's hard to concentrate, and I'm tired. One thing I learned back in my grad school days, when you're stupid tired, don't accept that you're stupid. When you're stupid tired, accept that you're stupid tired. Don't try to solve things right then. I have a sealed container that I need to get into eventually. I'll figure out how later. I pull out my tablet and I take photos of the container. Science rule number 1. If something is changing unexpectedly, document it. Just to be more scientific, I point a webcam at the experiment and set up a computer to take a time lapse of 1 frame per second if anything is happening slowly. I want to know. I head back to the control room. Where the heck are we? With some work of the nav controller, I learned we are still in orbit. It's stable-ish. The orbit will probably decay over time, though. No rush. I check all the ship systems that I do with diagnostics as I can. The ship did pretty well despite not being remotely designed to handle this situation. The 2 fuel bays I jettisoned are around anymore, but the other 7 look to be in good shape. There are cracks in the hull here and there, according to diagnostic tests, but they all seem to be internal. Nothing facing out, which is good. I don't want my astrophage to see Adrian again. One of my micro breaches is highlighted in red. I take a closer look. The breach's location has a computer in a tizzy. It's the bulkhead between the fuel area and the edge of the pressure vessel. I can see concern. The bulkhead sits between the storage of the bay below, the dormitory, and the fuel bay 4. I go take a look. Rocky still hasn't moved. No surprise there. My steel box remains where I put it. I could probably use it now, but I'm resolved to wait for the full hour. I open up the storage panel and pull a bunch of boxes out. I climb into the storage area with a flashlight and a toolkit. It's cramped, barely 3 feet tall. I have to crawl around in there for a good 20 minutes before I finally find the breach. I only spot it because there's a small frosty buildup around the edges. Air escaping into the vacuum gets really cold. Really fast. In fact, the ice probably helped slow the leak. That not mattered. Not that it mattered. The leak is so small, it would take weeks to be a problem. And the ship probably has a bunch of spare air in tanks anyway. Still, there's no reason to just let it leak. I apply a generous helping of epoxy to the small metal patch and seal the breach. I have to hold it for considerably more than 5 minutes before it sets. Epoxy takes a long time to set when it's cold, and the bulkhead is below freezing at the spot, thanks to the leak. I consider getting a heat gun from the lab, but that's a lot of work. I just hold the patch for longer. It takes about 15 minutes. I climb back down and wince the whole time. My arm hurts nonstop. It's a constant sting. It's been less than an hour, but the painkillers aren't doing the job anymore. Computer painkillers! Additional dose available in 3 hours and 4 minutes. I frown. Computer, what is the current time? 7:15 p.m. Moscow Standard Time. Computer, set time to 11 p.m. Moscow Standard Time. Clock completion. Clock set complete. Computer, painkillers. The arm hands me a package of pills and water. Ah, that's funny. That's funny. I gobble them down. What a stupid system astronauts trust to save the world but monitor their own painkiller dosage. Stupid. It's been long enough. I turn my attention back to the box. First, I'll need to drill a hole in the xenonite, and that's where all hell breaks loose if things go bad. Right? Hack the system. Exactly, girl. Hack the system. That's hilarious. Hack the planet! And that's where all things, Bruce. The general idea is for the drill holes inside the box to put a hole in the xenonite in the box to contain the pressure and rushes in. But you never know. The box might not be held on tight enough. I wear a medical breathing mask and eye protection. If there's going to be a jet of superheat, high-pressured ammonia in this room, I need to not die from it. Earlier, I filed down a metal rod to be sort of a spike. The full radius is a little bigger than just the drill bit I have readied in the steel box. I hold the spike and the hammer at the ready. If the pressure blows off, I'll hammer the spike into the hole and hope it plugs the gap. Of course, the pressure might not blow the box off entirely. It might just spurt out around the edges of the glue joint. If that happens, I'll have to smack it with a hammer until it comes off, and then drive in the spike. Yes, it's ridiculously dangerous, but I just don't know if Rocky will survive without help. Maybe I'm being emotional instead of rational. But so what? I clench the hammer and spike, and I activate the drill. It takes long for the drill to get through the xenonite. I actually calm down out of the boredom. It's only 1 centimeter, but it's like trying to grind down a diamond. I'm lucky the drill bit is hard enough to do anything at all. The camera feed from inside shows slow and steady progress. Inside of drilling like wood or metal is more like glass. It breaks off in chips and chunks. The final bit breaches the other side and immediately launches back into the box and bent straight sideways by the pressure. There's a whoomp as the iridium air rushes in the little box. I squint my eyes, then after a few seconds I open them again. If the box was going to blow off, it would have done so, right? My seal held. For now, anyway. I breathe a breath of relief. I breathe a sigh of relief, but I don't take my mask or goggles off. You never know when a seal might give out. I check the camera screen. This will take careful aim. So I'm very clever to make sure the camera feed is dead. A pain on my wrist takes over and I pull away. Yeah. Webcams aren't designed to work in 210 degrees Celsius and 29 atmospheres. And my solid steel box, well, it's solid steel. The steel is excellent heat conductor. I can't even touch it, it's so hot. I'm still stupid. Well, maybe that's why they, give you a little bit amount of pain pills at one time. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm still schmoopid from the first Adrian sample container and now this. I want to sleep, but Rocky is more important. At least being schmoopid isn't permanent. I'll press on. I know I shouldn't, but I'm too schmoopid to take that into consideration. Okay, the camera is dead. I can't see into the box, but I can still see Rocky in the airlock because the xenonide is clear, and I have to work with what I've got here. I fire up the high pressure pump. It still works, at least in making noise. It should be shooting a very high pressure jet at Rocky's direction. 29 atmospheres acts almost like water. You can really knock stuff around with it, but ammonia is clear, so I have no idea where it's going. I adjust the angle of the jet with the servo controls are working. I have no idea. The pump is too loud for me to hear if the servos are doing anything. I sweep left and right, inching down and up and down in a pattern. Finally, I spot something. One of the levers in the airlock wiggles a bit. I zero in on it. It gets pushed back several inches. Gotcha, I say. I now know where it's pointed. I do some guesswork and I aim for Rocky's caprice vents. Nothing happens. So I do a grid search, back and forth, up and down, until I get a result. And oh, what a result I get. I hit the sweet spot. All of a sudden, Rocky's caprice vents belch out of black smoke. The nasty dust and debris is built up and there was like it's on fire. Intensely satisfying, like that feeling when you blast air duster off an old computer. I sweep back and forth, trying to hit each vent one by one. The latter vents don't cause nearly the commotion as the first one. I think they're all lead to the same organs. It's like a human's mouth and nose down. Multiple orifices for redundancy and safety. After a few minutes, no more sooty dust is coming out. I shut off the pump. Well, buddy, I say, I've done all I can. I hope you can do the rest. I spend the rest of the day working on a secondary tertiary contamination box. I glue them in place over my device. The iridium air will have to breach 3 seals to get into the compartment now. That will have to do. I hope Rocky wakes up. Bum, bum, bum. And that's where we will end there. We got to chapter 21 today. 9 chapters to go. DW, I want to thank you for hanging out with me, even though we had to switch over to just the UB2B for the technical difficulties. DW is the MVP. She's always the MVP. So we get 3 buttons and then a DW special just to start. First thing I gotta dive in. Aw, I appreciate that. And it feels special that you stayed. Seriously, I do. Yes. A real easy day tomorrow, hopefully. All right, we got 3 spins. Let's see where we go. Well, you know me. I always got to finish what I start. I started the chapter. I ain't going to quit it. Oh, what do we got? That's I don't think the thing is not right. I think it's on the line. I dead ass think that's on the line. We're going with yeah. We're going with Zodiac. We're going with Zodiac. It looks like it's because it's never straight. We're going with Zodiac, and that is animals. Go follow that. Let's go follow that. Oh, I mean, oh, I was so that gives that one 6.
Shot me from my balls, she's a pain in my ass. That's how I like
Doubled out.
Honey?
Yeah. That's 5 doubled out. House of Beating Wings pulls up to 7. All right. Hey, DW. I appreciate you sticking in it for the long run, hanging out with me. And hope.
Wants a room. A good night room.
A good night rune? No worries. I got that one.
Rune Danon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran.
Did you see that? I didn't see it. Oh. I got it. Enjoy. There you go. There you go. Anticipation. I'll take a good night run. There you go. All right. Thanks for hanging out and enjoying the story with me. Hopefully, we will see you tomorrow. And you have a good day tomorrow. Until then, we will see you next time. Night, love.